Good Sunday evening, everybody. Wow, you guys are like, what? I haven't gone into the chat yet, but I see like 18 comments coming in already. Hopefully, they're all hellos to each other, because otherwise, you guys are gonna make me fall behind like 25 minutes like last time. But let me see where you are. Before I say hello to you all, actually, because sometimes I forget. I wanted to say hello and to I don't know if you're watching, but welcome to. You're actually not my newest sub. Now you're my second to last sub. PJ Psy 1, I guess you go by PJ Psy 1. That's my best, my best guess. But if you're watching, thank you for subbing. Appreciate it. I hope you are watching, or at least on Rewind later on. To those of you watching this on later up on Rewind, thank you as always. I hope you enjoy. I think it's going to be another good show. So thank you. And for those of you wondering who the newest sub is, that is actually Rick, the lovely guest tonight. So I just noticed he subbed I don't know, an hour ago I noticed. So didn't have time to add him there onto the scrolling bar at the bottom. But yeah, thanks to everybody as always. Really appreciate you. So let me check back with all the fellas, and hopefully once in a while some gals. Where are you gals? Where are you, Reba? You're only here once in a blue moon. So number one Marvel fan, hello to you, sir. Let's get ready to rumble. And geez, 3:08 in the afternoon. You were here early. Wow. And I was waiting for Dino. What's up, Dino? Rick's good friend, Dino. Thank you. I appreciate it. Glad to see you come in and support your boy. And I'm sure as I go down the list here, West is going to be here somewhere. And you're asking, is Breathless Rick's favorite movie, though? I don't get that. Maybe Rick gets it. I hope he gets it because I'm lost. Okay, I'll keep going. You're saying, I recall very well after watching Breathless, I thought, man, Surfer is bad. Oh, okay. And went looking for the other. Now I remember. Okay, thanks, man. CJ, good to see you, sir. Appreciate it as always. Thank you very, very much for being here. And Marcus, what's up? He might like the Crimson Tide more. What do you mean? He's a Florida Gator. He's a Florida Gator. Unlike myself in the Big Ten, you know. But that's okay. We beat them in 2016. We beat the pants off those Gators. Go Blue, baby. What else we got? Hey, Jeff Wedding. Greetings to you, sir. Good to see you, man. Mr. Easy Go Lucky, as always, hello to you. And hey, the Rickster, as always, good to see you, sir. Jason, what's up? What's up in Michigan? You see, I didn't shout you out with your Michigan State Spartans, but hey, at least I'm pushing Michigan, right? Yay for the state. Good to see you, man. Thanks for dropping in as always. Ian, what is up, sir? Good to see you. Yeah, I guess you can pre-type all the claims that Rick is not going to be allowing you to buy. That's get them ready if you want. That's fine, man. You know, we always go off the rails on my show, so who knows what can happen? Make a claim. Who knows? Maybe he'll say, you know what, for you, sold. Make a bigger enough offer. You never know what can happen. I doubt it, though, so maybe better you don't bother. So hey, there he is. What's up, Wes? Sorry, man, but I don't know what you're seeing on the screen, but here again, it's one of those crazy things where I see your name, and under your name, I'm seeing a square, like a rectangular kind of square. So I don't know what type of emoji or avatar thing you attached, but for me, it's a square. I don't know. That's all I can see. But thank you for coming in and supporting your boy. Appreciate it. Mr. Easy Go Lucky, thank you. Yes, please, everybody, would you please hit the like button, the thumbs up button, whatever you want to call it. I would really appreciate that. It just helps the YouTube algorithm. If the more likes it has, the more it thinks that this is getting kind of popular, and maybe we'll put it in front of a few other faces of people who we think would like it, and that tends to be other comic book related collectors. So, and that helps grow the channel, which helps grow the hobby in general. So that would be nice. So thank you in advance. Let me see what else we got. Mr. Red Jack, good evening to you, sir. As always, very appreciated. And let me see, CJ, Jason, Eternals, good to see you, sir. Hi, how you doing? And Maki Poo Poo. Hey, everybody. How was Maki Poo Poo last week? I thought that was what a lovely guy Michael was, right? He is. I really had a fun time. And what a cool thing that we got to see for the first time ever, one of my guests' children on screen, young children. So that was very, very fun, very cool. So good to see Mika on the show as well, little Maki Poo Poo. So yeah, hope you guys all enjoyed that. That was a fun show. By the way, Michael, I got a few emails after the show, just letting me know how much fun it was. And even somebody even posted a message in the comment section of the video if you want to go see it. Just very brief, telling us that they really enjoyed it. Yeah, so there you go. So it was fun, and I hope you had a fun time too. Tariq, what's up? Good to see you, Tariq. Thank you for coming in. And so West is again, text green, game over. That's what I'm seeing, by the way. So I don't know if you once again entered a emoji thing, but I just see West Stephan, and underneath it says text green. So I guess the green, there's some kind of text, and it says game over. So maybe a game over emoji, I guess. I don't know why I can't see that. That's so weird. I think it might have something to do with the fact that the type of device that you enter the stuff from. Maybe I'm on a PC, so maybe it's because of the device you use. I don't know. But anyways, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Southern Comic Geeks, what is up? Good to see you. Good Sunday evening to you. And Stevie B, good to see you as well. And it's also Sunday in Canada. Yeah, thank you. Yes, it is. It is. We're not on the other side of the planet or anything like that, you know. And yes, Vivian, my wife, thank you for being here as well. Thank you for the support as always. Mickey was super cute. Exactly. And CJ, it's a green game over emoji. Okay, thank you. Thank you, CJ, for explaining. Yeah. And Maki Poo Poo, you're very welcome. So everybody, please say hello. I think you're going to enjoy tonight. Like I said, well, I think you always enjoy it. But tonight, again, a little bit more special, I think. It's going to be a really fun thing. So let's please give a warm welcome to my new buddy, Rick Whitelock. What's up, Rick?
Hello, everybody.
Love the hat.
Always. I am the known up here in Beach Mountain as the bucket hat guy. So that's kind of what I'm wearing.
The bucket hat guy. Love it. Love it. Look at it. Look, Rick. My other pal, Rick, surfs up. I don't think he's going to be doing any surfing where he lives, though.
We might do some skiing, but no surfing.
Exactly. Who else is? Oh, what's that? There you go, Gator. See, that's now. See, for you, Marcus. For you, I see the Gator. So that's cool. Look at Dino. Gator up.
Without question.
Shouldn't you be doing this to us by now, Rick? Though, like
the Gator jump, and I'm doing right over left, but my backwards. So
no, but yeah, right. But you know what? Just so you know, it's backwards for you, but I see you doing it the right way. So I see you doing right over left.
Perfect.
Yeah. So everybody else, I guess, is seeing it the right way. Yeah. And we say, there we go, West with the Gator. Mr. Redjack says hello to Rick. And let's see any other hellos. Well, hello to each other. Excellent. Aloha to you all the way in Maui. Good to see you, Carl, all the way from Maui. Always love it. It makes me warm on such a crappy looking day we have here. Raining all day long, overcast and dark. So to think of Hawaii, ooh, yeah, it makes me happy. So good to see you, man. A master gator. I don't know if you're trying to make a dirty joke there, CJ, because I know you. I kind of feel like you are, but I'm not going to go there. Let's see. Ian, we do that for the San Jose Sharks out here. Oh, even the San Jose Sharks do that? Yeah, the whole interesting. Yeah, I'm into college football, so I know that from the Gators. So yeah, there we go. And Comic Art Boston, good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Thanks for tuning in. Wow, Paulie P again? 2 weeks in a row. Wow. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. So cool to see you twice. Wow. Man, I don't know what I did to deserve this, but I'm very happy to see all of you guys, man. Wow. And another hello to Rick from Tariq, Tam D1. There we go. And Who else we got? Paul. Okay, that's it. So everybody, thank you so much for being so lovely to Rick. Just so you guys know, I wanted to mention real quick that if you guys are one, West says Ruben gets all the whale guests. If you say so, I'll take that. That's good, you know, and it's good. It kind of what I was just going to say is that it ties into what West is talking about. You know, interestingly enough, those of you who are regular viewers, you'll remember about 6 weeks ago. That's when I did my last sales art drop, whatever you want to go, live art sale. And you guys will remember that at some point in the sale, West had picked up a Silver Surfer piece from me, did a little haggling and whatnot, and you know, he took the piece. It turns out that he is a, how do you call it? Not that I don't do this. I've been doing this my 26 years in the hobby. I've been doing this for a lot of people too. Yes, I tap myself on the back. Thank you. But West tends to look out for Rick because he knows he's very, you know, focused and concentrated narrowly on that one character, Silver Surfer. And Rick, admittedly, like I kind of still am, not a super tech savvy guy. And so West looks out at all these little, you know, websites and whatnot, all these YouTube type channels. And he was actually contacting Rick while I was showing that piece during the sale. And that's why he was haggling with me, because it was actually on Rick's behalf. So as it turned out, I only found this out after the show when I asked, as you guys know, I ask everybody, please contact me at that email. And next thing you know is I get an email from Rick telling me, yeah. So I'm the guy, you know, I bought the Silver Surfer piece. And at first I'm thinking, no, you didn't. Right? It caught me off guard. I'm like, what are you talking about? And then I saw the email and I'm like, wait, I think this is Rick Whitelock, who, by the way, I knew you from, you know, seeing you post things on CAF, right? And I'm like, okay, not that I didn't trust it was for you. I figured at that point, okay, West must have been obviously, you know, helping you out. But I'm like, I just got to be absolutely sure that you're not just trying to swoop in and steal the piece from West or whatever, you know? And then, of course, West later on did email me, and right, so I knew it was cool and clear. So that was fun. And anyway, so yeah, you guys, that's why I wanted to let you know that it's the first time that Rick and I have communicated. And yeah, so far, you know, seems like a really super cool dude, really laid back. I love the whole look, the hat, and the whole college football thing. I loved it. And I actually, it was fortuitous that this sale of mine happened the way it did, because of the fact that for like 3 months previous to that, I actually had been thinking like, okay, who else should I maybe invite and see if they'd like to do like a show with me? And you were one of those guys, Rick, right? So I was thinking,
I appreciate it.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. But of course, the reason I still hadn't reached out is simply because we'd never even said hello before, right? So I was like, well, if I reach out now on my own, it might be easier for you to say no, because like you might think like, well, who the heck is this guy, right? Like, what's he asking? I've never even spoken to him before. So I thought, okay, I'll put it off for now. And then I remembered, I was like, oh, but that's West and Dino's friend. So, okay, at some point I'll reach out maybe to them, right? And I'll see like, hey, do you guys think like, you know, would Rick be cool with this? Do you think you know, that was my plan. But as I said, I put it off long enough that my sale happened, and then obviously you and I got in contact, and so it worked out beautifully, you know. So very happy, man, very happy, and I'm so thankful that you said that you'd be willing to do it with me, you know. So yeah, really appreciate it. And you guys are a bunch of you are talking a ton here. Just really quick. Oh yeah, thank you, CJ. Yeah, please, everybody, again, hit that like button. We would really appreciate that. As always, Mr. Easy Go Lucky, your never-ending thumbs up likes thing is fantastic. Thank you. And yes, appreciate it. And I know that Rick obviously must too. So that's awesome, West. I appreciate you, man. Jeff, good to have friends and extra eyes in the hobby. Yeah, absolutely. Right. It's all about like networking. That's what we always say, right? Network and make friends with people and help each other out, though. Like don't Don't be like some guys who always, believe me, there's guys over the years that I've met where I thought, oh, maybe we'll help each other. And it turned out to be this one-sided relationship where I'm always helping him. And he never seems to go out of his way to do anything for me, right? It's like, wow, I don't know, man. So whatever, but I like to help. So whatever it takes, I help, and that's that. And it's good to see other people doing the same thing, for others. So the more people do that for each other, I mean, the more the hobby is a fun one, and when new people come into the hobby, if you are helping those newer collectors, right, they love it more. They see like, wow, like this is a pretty cool, it's smaller than comics, but like it's really tight knit. It looks like people are friendly and helpful, and it makes them want to stay in longer, I would think, and so it's important, so happy birthday, Ian, by the way. Was it today, Ian, by the way? When was it? But happy birthday or was it the other day? Sorry, I'm a little flustered. Sorry, but happy birthday! Since I see everybody also wishing you happy birthday. So there we go. You're gonna have to run watch it on rewind. Running out in a bed. Yeah. Okay. Well, no worries, man. Anytime. Welcome. Free to watch on rewind. You'll enjoy it. It's well, it's gonna be cosmic because it's all surfer stuff. So yeah. So but have a good evening. I appreciate it, and enjoy the show later on. And what do we got here? There, KKK. So thank you. Happy birthday. A bunch of birthdays. Jason says, so if Rick isn't big on tech, live sales, what's his usual mode of buying? I love the instant question, Jason. I love it. Auctions, dealers, friends. Yeah, why don't we jump right into that and take that first question, man?
The easiest answer is yes. The very first purchase I believe I made, I want to say, and Wes may better remember because Wes was kind of my first introduction into art. And this is many years ago. I think he either texted me or we saw at a convention. And he told me there's a really great Silver Surfer Kirby piece that's being made available. And Wes said, you should buy it. So I bought it. That piece, I think I told you, Ruben, that actually arrived to my office in Florida, 2010, 8, 9, somewhere in there. And
wait, Rick, wait.
Okay.
Just to warn you, I think the comments, these guys are going to freak out when you just tell them what you told me already, but just to warn you, I think they're going to freak out. They're not going to believe it, but yeah, go ahead.
And maybe it's embarrassing. I've always been a comic guy. I've never been an art guy, but I trusted Wes. Wes has been a friend for many, many years. I bought this really cool piece of art, maybe 10, 12, 15 years ago, and it arrived in, one of those nice, flat cardboard mailers and everything. And fast forward to 2020 or 21 is when I actually opened it. So it remained still sealed in the original shipper, probably for 15 years or 12 years. I'm embarrassed to say I always knew I had it. I just, I never had a method for displaying art or desire to have art out. It was just kind of cool. Wes had told me this is a piece I needed to buy. And so I bought it. And like I said, fast forward, and now, of course, it's one of the central pieces, being my first piece, maybe one of my favorite in the entire collection, of course. Auctions have been good to me. Again, I really only start outside of West, and then when I rehooked up with Dino, and I had done comic deals in the past, but never art deals until I want to say 2020. He called me one day, and again, after I had started on CAF and had a piece to offer me, a surfer, I bought it. Friends like Wes and Dino and Jason V and actually Tam D1 I bought a piece from, I think, fairly recently. So a lot of them have become guys that I've kind of met, via CAF or the CGC boards art. Dealers like, of course, I've known Bashara for a long, long time. He had some cool pieces. I met, Wes introduced me to Glenn Brunswick, who has really helped. Glenn was one of the first guys. Will Gabrielle, I bought some stuff from Vinny at, Comic Connect Metropolis. I've known forever, has been looking out for pieces.
The comics, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, so, the art transition, they all kind of know I like Silver Surfer now. Heritage, Comic Link, Comic Connect. I think those are the only 3 auctions that I've been successful at buying stuff from. And believe it or not, some of the pieces you may or may not show today, since I don't know what you're showing, I bought a few pieces in 2011 and 2015 and same story again. They all remained in the shipper until I talked with Dino and West, I want to say in 2020 during COVID, and really got interested in the art. And that's when I started opening stuff up. So embarrassed to say it in hindsight, because I wasn't appreciating this art. Now, like I said, I rotate. I have a mantle that I rotate pieces every week on so I can enjoy the art.
That's fantastic. It's an awesome story. That's because like I said, to me, it's crazy. It's just crazy. I can't believe you did that, because I mean, like, the thing about it is, on one hand, yeah, I get the fact that you were strictly a comic guy. Like, I get it, right? But here's the thing. There's a big but, is the fact that, like, you knew that what you bought was like one of a kind pieces of art that were published in the kind of comics that you've dealt in and bought and whatever over the many years you've been in the hobby. And they're not, it's not like they're cheap or anything, right? And so it still boggles the mind that, like, you wouldn't at the very least slice it open to check, like, okay, let me see if it's like in okay condition or something like that, you know?
You know what? I discussed this with my wife as we were going through, and I had been carrying around through the hurricane and everything, probably a stack like this thick, I can't know if you can see, of these mailers with art in them. And it wasn't until I got up here to Beach Mountain that we really started opening them and appreciating them. And Dino was very kind in showing me, what supplies to buy, mats and Mylars and stuff in order to and it's been really wonderful. And since then, of course, now I get something in, and typically I'm slicing open the car. It doesn't even wait till I get home. It's off this FedEx, UPS. But that just shows you the progression of being not only a novice, because I still consider myself very much a novice art person. That's why I rely on everybody. But as I try to pick up a little more knowledge, I understand how important these pieces are. And so, like a kid in the candy store, now I can't wait to have them out, display them, and put them in my little map board mores and my Mylars, and, write down my little, who I bought it from and what date, and, what issue it's from and what the artist is. And again, slowly I'll start getting stuff on CAF. I think I told you I only have maybe 25% of what I have is on CAF. Yeah, I've got to find a way to get good pictures, and then I'll start adding some more cool pieces.
Yeah, I'm curious. Speaking of pictures, like, when we spoke privately, I didn't mention this because I don't want to, like, scare you off or anything. But, like, if these guys in the chat, they'll tell you I'm like they'll call me like a scanner pusher, all kinds of names, because I'm so adamant. I've always been very adamant about how people present their art. They know that I can't stand when collectors post, like, photos rather than scans, of images, whatever. And so I'm always harping on get a scanner. And the thing is I want to ask you is, because you mentioned when we spoke privately that you did have a scanner, you said, and okay. And so, but you keep putting photos, but is that because it's just quicker? So you figure it's like a lazy thing, like laziness?
At my house, I don't have any. In fact, I have this laptop, but I have no computer, no scanner, no anything here at the house. We're living in the mountains of North Carolina, very rural, very poor internet connection. So in my office, a ways away, I do have a scanner. It's one of those old, I'm trying to think of it's an Epson 15,000 or something, which is really good for scanning CGC slabs because it doesn't have that reflection. So I presumably could use that for the art. It's only, I think it will accommodate an 11 by 17. But
I would think so.
Like I said, being relatively new to this, the pictures I post on CAF, I think 99% of them are pictures that were provided to me, such as you, by the seller. And so whether I capture it, save the photos or whatever on my phone, that's where I would say almost every one of those pictures have come from.
Okay. I understand.
From the auction house or something like that.
Right. I get it. Marcus says that he'd hate to see your fridge. What? Oh, because he never opens stuff.
I do open the fridge. And it's stocked full of Coke Zeros. Anyone else that knows me outside of the comic world as Gator knows that you never see me at any convention, at any get together, anywhere at all, and I don't have a Coke Zero in my hand.
Oh, and Tariq, you are correct. Yes, you're remembering correctly. It's Tariq saying that's right, Rick. It was a great sale to you.
Yes, I do. And again, being relatively new, I recognize the TAMD1 handle, but I don't always, sometimes I don't always put, like on Instagram or something. I can't put a name.
It's hard to match up, right? Because when I say the same thing all the time. When you don't put a face with the name, right? it's just hard to always remember because everybody's also using like fake names, right? And pseudonyms and whatever.
Sure.
It just really gets very, it's difficult.
Avatars and so forth. So
yeah, the avatars. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
really,
I see. That's how I try to remember though with the avatars. That's how I try to make the connection. It's usually with the remembering the avatar since we don't see the picture of the person, right? So okay, that's that guy. Oh yeah, so Joe Blow. Oh, that's the guy who has like that Spidey head on his avatar or whatever. You know, that's kind of how I do it. But it's still tough. It's tough, and especially tough when like you're talking about like there's a bunch of Ricks in the hobby. There's a Jason's like a billion Jasons.
Somebody else.
Yeah. Exactly. So that's cool. But yeah, awesome. Yeah, sees Ian saying, "Wow, what a story." It is. We don't hear that type of, most art collectors. You think, yeah, it's like they get it and woo, they tear into it. It's like, yeah. So yeah, I knew you guys would like that, and that's kind of part of the reason I was so excited to have Rick on. I thought it'd be like, the stories he tells, and he's not done. He's got another kind of. It's not a funny one, but it's bad news, but it's a great story. Something that happened to him several years back, but we'll get to that soon. Yeah, and you see, Wes, that's right. That's another thing. That's another reason, other than the one I told you, that you should check it just to make sure that there's something in the package, right? You don't want to be buying Kirby art, finding out that there's nothing in there, or a photocopy or something,
I guess I went on the trust factor. Like I said, those early purchases, quite honestly, were all Wes was the driving force behind, like I said, and then I think the first other comic was when I started posting stuff to CAF, Dino kind of came in, and Dino will tell you he probably gets tired of my text to him because I still consider myself a very much a novice. I don't have a very firm grasp a lot of times on values at auction. Relatively easy. If I want it, I'm willing to outbid somebody, then I've kind of set the price. But sometimes, again, I just don't know if that's a good price or not. And I ask a lot of folks' opinion of that. And I appreciate everyone that's been willing to help me out. And very much like the comic market where people would come to me for pricing, I'm very pleased and happy that folks are willing and don't get tired of me texting them and emailing them. Hey, what do you think about this, et cetera, et cetera. In fact, we just did another one today with Dino on that exact same. And actually Fish Benz as well. I'm sure y'all know Fish. He helped me on a piece. So
okay. All right, excellent. Now, Comic Art Boston is saying, Ruben, I used to have packages from you unopened for several months, but that was because I trust you. Well, I appreciate that you trusted me, but definitely not years though. But several months, really? Wow! And just so you know, Rick, Comic Art Boston has been collecting art for decades, so. Even he doesn't have that sort of newbie excuse like at least you did in a way, right? So I can't explain that one, Comic Art Boston. I don't know how you could stand to just put them aside and whatever. I'll get to it a few months from now. That's bizarre to me. I don't know, but that's crazy to hear. But thank you for admitting to that. And yes, trust is the key. And of course, absolutely. Let me see what other comments we have here. Yeah, Jeff is saying that. Yeah, you got to open it because otherwise they may have been Scooby-Doo pages all these years.
Wow. Well, I'm happy to say that everything I opened was what it was supposed to be. And there were not very many pieces. There were only, like I said, the one that I originally bought. I think there was a heritage piece and maybe a comic link piece. So it's not like it was it was only about this thick, 3 or 4 or 5, because I was not an art collector. These are just things that, in fact, my necklace is a Silver Surfer. You probably can't see it. Back to my phone, Kirby Silver Surfer. My screen. So everyone in the comic world knew me as Gator, but in the art world, I'm kind of, the surfer guy because that's all I collect.
Yeah. Well, it makes sense. Which is cool. No? I would think you like it, right?
Well, to go back to the origin in 1972, the first comic book my dad bought me was Silver Surfer #1. And it's the only comic I have from my childhood to this date. I still have it now, some almost, I guess, what is this, 51 years later? I still have that original comic book that was bought for me for $25 in 1972, and it was a surfer, and that was my introduction to comics, so that imprinted on me my favorite character.
Yeah, for sure. Makes total sense to me, man. Yeah, absolutely. Do you see what I was saying earlier? Caesar, see what I said about me being a pusher of the scanners rather than photos? Photos rule because that's what he does. But I will admit, he makes them way better than most people. So for him, I'm okay. I don't crap on his images. But look at Rich. Look at what Rich says. He calling me a scanner Nazi. I mean, they think that I'm that bad, man. Ruben, I need scans for the pieces I purchased from you on your latest art show. No joke. You asked me for them and I sent it to you. Anyways, just let me know which ones you need. No worries. I have them. So you let me know exactly what you need. I will send it to you. No worries. And after 23 years, I just bought my really, Rick? Wow. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. I know you didn't do it for me. Or maybe you did. Maybe because you got tired of me busting your balls all the time here on the show. But good. Let me know if you're happy with it. And because I think like whenever somebody graduates to a scanner, and they actually get the hang of it and they start making scans, in my experience, the feedback I get is that they're all excited. They're like, wow, it's so cool. It's so much fun to see that the quality of the picture that I'm now starting to go back and slowly rescanning all my collection. So I don't know. Let me know if you kind of think it's that fun or what. But yeah, let me know. I'm curious. Including the Bear JSA pinup. But I thought that I gave it to you. You emailed me about that Comic Art Boston. You emailed me about that, and I sent it. Maybe you didn't get the email? Okay, I don't know. I'll send it again. Sorry, everybody, for doing my personal business in the middle of the show. Rick, I am in a similar position with regards to scans. Oh, right. He also, right. He's like you, saving whatever he gets from the people that sell him the art, you know? Yeah. Good evening to you, John. Good to see you as always. Thank you for tuning in. And what? Sell to me. I'm the great Rick Whitestone. Huh?
Whitelock is close.
I currently have at least 8 packages unopened. You too? What is happening here? This is like an epidemic. I thought it was just Rick all this time. Wow. Rick, I might have to apologize to you in like well, not that I ever said anything bad to you, but sure. I don't know. I'm starting to feel like a little bad about freaking out about it. Wow. All these guys are coming out with their secrets about doing the same thing you did. Wow. Okay. Paul, I thought I was patient when I would wait 3 to 4 months sometimes to open art. You too? Because it was sent me while I was because you were out on, you were working. That's different. Yeah. You should add that it was only Ruben whom I trust implicitly. Thank you. That's very nice. All the other ones you open up quickly because you don't trust them. They're not going to be happy to hear that. Of course, I'm joking. Now I'm off shift and never. Yeah, you never have to wait. Rich is busy laughing. Very good. Used to have unopened Christmas gifts in my house that were 2 years old. What? How do you celebrate Christmas but not open the gifts? What? You guys are freaking me out tonight. What is this happening here? I suppose if it's a Christmas present from someone gives lame presents. Yeah, right. Then you maybe you don't have to open it. There's Dino. So being the surfer guy brings first call OA opportunities. I would think so, but that's not always the case. What do you say to that, Rick? Have you found that to be the truth? I would think so for you in your case, but what do you think?
I think really with the folks I know, and of course, like I said, I'm relatively new to the hobby, and I really have slightly more than a handful of folks that I bought from outside of the 3 auction houses that I've been very blessed that they have been kind enough to offer me pieces. Again, I have had some wonderfully epic covers and splashes and great pages offered to me, and as the pocketbook will allow, I have tried to purchase. At least in 2020 and 2021, I was a lot less discerning because, again, being new to the hobby, and I knew every surfer page was unique. So when it was offered to me, I kind of just bought it. And there was a period of time there where it rolled. And now into year number 3 of being what I would consider seriously collecting. I'm not that I'm discerning is the word, but I'm looking for, I have narrowed my criteria, and I've actually passed on pages that just 2 years ago, where did I send the money? And now I'm like, I like it, but I'd rather put the money into this, or I think this would be a better example. And these are things I have learned from other collectors, learned from talking to some of the dealers at some of the shows I go to. And of course, just getting advice from the guys like Dino and them, the West that I text Jason V has been really good, helpful, because he had kind of had that early Cosmic Surfer stuff. And of course, I scanned through CAF and I looked for things for sale as well. And, sometimes I would get messages out of the blue offering me surfer stuff. So there are a few dealers. Bashar is very good about it. Glenn Brunswick's outstanding about it. Vinny texted me yesterday afternoon with something. So it's kind of nice that I'm being offered these, and whether I'm first or not doesn't matter. It's if it's a piece that I like and they're willing to sell it to me, I'm typically happy to buy it.
Cool. Yeah, I think Dino mentioned it earlier that you've just to be clear, everyone, Rick, we can say that he's been, let's say, an avid collector for about 3 years, but just so you know, he had bought some pieces, 10 years ago, 15 years ago, or whatever. But not enough to say that. Yeah, okay, yeah, but not enough to say that he was a collector or whatever. Picked up a few pieces, that's it, But I gotta say, so if we kind of just count it from like the last few years, Dino said it, like, you have gone pretty much from novice to use whatever you want, but I mean, you're
accumulator.
Well, I wouldn't say that, because that makes you sound like you're just in it to hoard stuff. And what you said just a minute ago is very true. Only 3 years in, you've gone from that place in the hobby where everything's fresh and new. So you're all like excited about it. And like you said, oh, look at all this stuff being offered to me. It's cool. I'll buy it. Okay, sure. I'll take it. Right. To now you're already, ooh. And you said you won't use the word discerning, but that's really what you are doing. You're being more discerning. Absolutely. I think that's great. Like that's quick, going in about approximately 3 years from novice to like, ooh, now it's not about, and let that be a lesson to all of you out there who thought that tonight you were going to just get to know the guy who you might want to phone or email to try to dump some Silver Surfer thing you don't want or whatever. He's very discerning now, so he's not going to just buy anything you offer at any price, So I think that's amazing, man. You've come a long way in a short period of time. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
I've had a lot of help, and I try to always thank the folks that have helped me. So yeah,
that's fantastic. Marcus, you're waiting for the unboxing shows. Oh, to open your packages. Is that what it is? Common Grab Austin says that you've opened a Pandora's box. Yeah. With the whole don't open your packages right away, and chaos has ensued. Yeah, exactly. That's not gonna happen with me. You guys do what you want, but the lighting for photos has to be just right, though, which is why one of the many reasons why I hate photos. The angles, the lighting. And by the way, so you guys know, just before we start getting into the art, because I know if I don't say it in advance, you'll probably call me out for it. Rick mentioned earlier that first piece he had bought from FF55. Want you guys to know it's not going to be shown tonight. Why? Because as I mentioned earlier, you guys know when it comes to displaying art, there's a certain minimum criteria, if you will, to the type of image I'm willing to show. If I think the image doesn't help, and in fact maybe even hurts the look of the artwork, that's it. I'm out. I don't want to use it. I'd rather not show it, right? But so you guys know, because Rick, his images, a lot of them are photos, and they're taken at angles and whatnot. If they were like that, I didn't choose those. I figured, you know what, you guys have right below in the description of this video, you have the direct link to his CAF gallery, right? So if you want to see it larger, whatever, or you want to see the pieces that he may mention that we're not showing tonight, use the link that's right below here and go check it out in his gallery. But yeah, the 55 page, it's not going to be seen tonight just because I didn't like the photo. Let's just say that, But yeah,
I took that photo when I first opened up. You'll see it's still taped to the cardboard it was shipped on. And I just took a photo. That was the first photo I took after it's sitting there for all those years. So
yeah. But remember, everybody, I mean, you guys know that I'm very particular about how I, showing images and whatnot. But remember also that for YouTube, it's also more important. It's even more important, in fact, that I use, at least if I'm going to use photos, they kind of got to be photos where they've been taken like straight on, centered, no angle involved. Because when you look on CAF, at least even if it's an angled a photo taken at with the arts like that, at least the image is probably going to be larger than what you're going to see here on YouTube, right? So the worse the photo is, the harder it is to really look at and appreciate on a small screen on YouTube. So that's another thing also. So that's another reason. So, but like I said, check out his gallery. Open it up now if you guys want to follow along, and open another tab and yeah, do that. Hoarder's Hide, what's up, Scott? Saying no to a page, blasphemy. Yeah, Mr. Hoarder's Hide. Yes, you would definitely say that for sure. Come in and see the white LL Cool J. He thinks you look like a white LL Cool J, Dwayne Zapane says. Yeah, I didn't even think of that, but it's actually pretty true. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I used to love LL. Oh, that's funny. And what do we got here? Surfer art is hugely expensive nowadays. Well, let's be honest, Comic Art Boston. What is not hugely expensive nowadays, right? Derek, hey, what's up, Derek? Wants to know, how do I get on the Sloppy Seconds Silver Surfer list? Yeah, I don't know if they're Sloppy Seconds. I mean, the character's so popular, the art's so popular. You probably are like sloppy 50ths or something, yeah, it's there's a lot of hardcore guys that are collecting it now. So yeah, see, in Comic Art Boston will tell you there are no sloppy seconds nowadays. Connoisseur expert judge in matters of taste. What? Connoisseur? Sorry, man. I guess I'm coming a few minutes late, so I'm lost on that one, Rick. Sorry. 3 years in, and I am as unfocused as a broken camera in the dark. I envy Rick's singular focus in his collection. Yeah, I envy his ability to not get distracted and be attracted by anything other than Silver Surfer. Like, to me, it's I always admire when people can just narrow it. And not to say that that's the only way you should collect, but when you do collect that way, and that you don't get distracted by all the other characters that, it's like, Rick, you're a comic guy, right? So it's like, you've read tons of comics in your life. I mean, you must, is it fair to say that you do love other characters?
Oh, not only do I love them, and not only, I want to say that I had to choose, because unlike maybe some people here, I have financial restrictions. I don't have unlimited checkbook, but right. I mean, the video I watched of Dino's covers, I would happily and enviously want to own every single one of those pieces, because those are all books I read growing up, bought them off the newsstand in most every case. And so I have a connection to these comics and characters as well. It just simply, I can't, it's too late. And someone mentioned how expensive art is these days. The days of getting a cover from Conrad Eichenberg for $2,500 are gone, in 1982 or whatever it was. And I look back at some of my old CBGs and I just, it's painful to see. So I think if I had to start it like many people did 20, 30 years ago, I would have a more broad spectrum, but looking at what I'm able to buy, and then the love of, like I said, my character is the Silver Surfer. First comic, the only comic from my childhood I have. I've owned every Surfer comic. At one time I had the only CGC 9.8 set because there was only one FF49 and 9.8, and I owned it until I had to sell it after the hurricane. And so right. Surfer has been my focus. Statues, toys, some trading cards, oddball stuff. If I see it and I like it, I tend to buy it. So it's just made it very easy. Selling my comic collection post-hurricane was a necessity, and there was no way I could restart collecting after 2018, collecting comics again. I've been priced out of the market. But the Surfer art, and knowing I had a few pieces, and talking with Wes and talking with Dino and talking with some people at conventions, and then walking around and seeing, I want to say maybe, I think there's Mike Berkey, Anthony Snyder, some of these guys I bought a few pieces. It really started tugging at me. Then COVID hit, and that kind of opened the array of, I had some extra time on my hands as well. And like many people, I got sucked down that rabbit hole, and I'm only too happy to keep digging deeper.
No, excellent. Yeah. Dino's pointing out to everyone, Rick has 2 FF55 server pages.
I had 4. I still have 3. I had 4, but one of them is the tragic story we mentioned.
Yeah. Which you will tell a little bit later. You're
cool whenever you want.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. Yeah. I'm gonna save that for a bit later because I figure we're 45 minutes in. We haven't even gotten to any of the art yet, So we'll do a bunch of art, then we'll talk about some art, and then we'll take a break and talk more. You'll let everybody know that story because it's a kind of a tragic story, but it's crazy to think about, right? So it's definitely something of interest to people, Okay, so real quick before I jump into the art, let me just see the last few minutes worth of comments. To me, a great surfer artist is special. I have seen many weak ones. Well, but you could say that fairly about any character, really. That you have some weak artists and some good ones. That's you could say that about everybody. CJ. Let's see. Need to change. Okay, so Rick has the good ones. Kirby, the Bisemas, Lim. CJ, I know you. You're probably in his gallery already. I bet you're in his gallery. So that's good. I hope so. Yeah, #1 Marvel fan. I love all Rick's Malik pieces. You'll see some tonight. I can tell you that. I mean, you've already seen them, but everybody else I'll show some. So, Comic Guard Boston. No joke. I have one FF55 surfer page. Not the best, though, but have no scanner and so cannot post it on my cap gallery. And Ruben doesn't accept photos. Like I'm the final arbiter of what you should post if it's not a good enough photo of it, That is so funny. But you see Comic Guard Boston. Now you're gonna get secret emails from Rick.
I was wondering, not even an email right now. You just text me with the page, and if you want to sell it, I'm your guy. So making connections. I do want to meet other collectors, and again, I'm trying to read all the comments as they come over.
Yeah.
So sometimes my eyes shift off because again, I'm not widely known in the art world outside of some of the wonderful folks that have met me. So if nothing else, I would love to, like we have comic book get-togethers, where guys get together and you share comics. I know people have art get-together. Ankur Jetley told me about one of those. I'd love to go to those as well and expand my presence in the hobby. So
Sure. Oh, and they're great fun. And just so that's why I was away for the last 2 days out of town. I went to one of those art get-togethers in Toronto. Yeah.
There you go.
So that's it. Yeah. So I've told everybody on the channel many times, like for those who've never done it, if they live in places where they know of these things happening, see if you can get an invite to it. It's fantastic. I mean, and I'm like I've said this before. I'm at that point in my collecting where I'm way closer to the end than the beginning. And when I go to those things, for me at this point, it's not even really as much to look at the art anymore as it is I just want to socialize with everybody, So we just go there and chat. I mean, this weekend on Saturday was the get-together. Usually the get-togethers are in September, and there's between 25 and 35 people. This time, it was not in September, obviously. It's in April. It was a last-minute thing that was proposed just this past Monday for this past Saturday. So you had you have to say yay or nay. I'll be there or I won't. 5 days after the idea came out, and because of the last-minute thing, there ended up only being 12 people who could make it or say yes. And even then, out of those, 3 of them ultimately couldn't make it. So it was only a group of 9, but it was still great fun. Had a blast talking to everybody, looking at art. I mean, yeah. So whether it's a big group, small group, if you guys have an opportunity, absolutely do it, Yeah. And you make connections, you make friends. So yeah, it's great. Yeah, definitely don't throw out those opportunities if you have them. Okay, so let me see a couple more. Anything here I got to post? Just Comic Guard Boston telling you that you've done fantastically well in the circumstances. Hey, Mikhail, you're gonna delay me from showing more art. When did Rick start? Yeah.
The first piece I bought, like I said, I think, and Wes may know better than me because he's the one that directed me to it, but I want to say it was at a San Diego Comic-Con 2008, 9, or 10. I honestly don't remember the year because, like I said, the package sat for many, many moons, and I tried to track it on FedEx to see when it was delivered. just so I could determine what year I bought it. And of course, the number was no longer valid. But I really started seriously collecting with COVID in 2020.
There you go. Thank you, sir. And Hoarder's Hide. Okay, Scott, there are good artists and bad, just like there are good art show hosts and bad. Come on, don't be so mean to Bill. He's a good guy, man. Don't. That's not cool. Don't do that, man. Don't do that. Dino claim. Look at that, you Dino. You've already had, out of all of us, you've had the easiest opportunity of anybody to, or you and West, to try to claim that. That's funny. Don't agree, Ruben. You don't agree that Surfer is so simple in design that it is hard. No, come on. Okay, but you have the right to your opinion. That's cool. I did so many time payments then, impossible to purchase now. Yeah. Why are all these guys with good art not able to get a scanner? Is there a scanner shortage? See, Marcus is on my side. Nice. I finally get some support on my end for the scanners. That's funny. Cab has the jam. Marcus, they were all stolen in Seattle. Were they? And Hoarder's Hide says, I hope I'm never, quote unquote, known in the art world. The day that happens is the day I am priced out of the market. Yeah, but like I said earlier, Scott, even Rick admitted that, early on, like I think a lot of us were like that. He's new and everything's shiny and exciting, and he says yes to everything, doesn't even think twice about the price. But in 3 short years, he's gone from, again, just whatever, grabbing everything in sight to like, really, okay, I gotta love it. I'm particular about what it looks like, what's on it, and how much it costs.
Very true.
Yeah, so that's fantastic, and yeah, you got to be that way. You got to, And okay, you need to so go to Heroes Con. So James, who are you talking to, James? Hey, James, go to Heroes Con. Lots of collectors going. Oh, right, talking to Rick, right, because he's saying he wants to meet people and stuff. Yeah. Do you? How far and wide do you travel when you do cons?
Well, Heroes Con. I started doing MegaCon because I was in Florida.
Yeah.
I was at San Diego Comic-Con every year from 88 to 2018 COVID, set up from 2003 to 2018, but when I was an attendee. But I've been at Shelton Show every year since 2000, except for the 2 COVID years. I'm always in 1700, have a double end cap. It's only comics. I don't sell art, of course. Yeah. But anybody that wants to come by, New Force Comics has been 20 straight years at Heroes. So this will be my 21st or second year. Now that I live in North Carolina, it's a 2.5-hour drive. Last weekend, I went to Greenville, South Carolina. It's a 3 or 4 hour drive. It's getting more challenging for me to do the New York and the Chicago and the San Diegos and stuff as I get older and grandkids and more things happening. Yeah. But, I definitely will be at Heroes every year. I used to do MegaCon every single year back when the sisters owned it before they sold out the Fan Expo. I did San Diego every year, New York Comic-Con every year. Both Chicago's, downtown and Rosemont. I either would set up with Jamie Graham at Graham Crackers. He'd always give me some booth space, but it was always comics. Just for someone that asked, here is, I don't know how well you can pick that up. You probably can't because the light will be horrific. But there's that page that Ruben won't show, and that's just a picture on my phone. That's the first one. And it's a bad picture, I know.
Look what you guys did. Now Rick's angry at me, man. He's gonna tell me off.
I agree. I knew when we talked that the way with the flash and the angled, and I just never, you know what I mean? Yeah. And there's the other page that happened. I never even got a picture of it. It just come in. We put it up on the wall in my office, and then.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, everybody, I think you'd be interested to know that all of Rick's collection, he actually, because of Dino, of course, he actually has it all set up and presented the same exact way Dino does it. So imagine how cool all his Silver Surfer collection must be, all beautifully presented like that with the matte boards into the shiny bags.
I think I'm up to about, like I said, I've got maybe 70 pages on CAF, and I think I've got about 225 or 230 unique pieces now. So I've got a lot of work to do, a lot of scanning and a lot of posting to catch CAF up. So as many cool things are on there, there's a lot of stuff obviously I've never gotten to that if people do want to follow that, the comic art fans, I'm going to make a concerted effort to add pieces. And some stuff was, shown at auctions, so people have seen them. And some things are ones people were privately offering me that probably haven't been seen in a long time. So that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. Slowly but surely,
Gonna
So
try.
Yeah, follow his gallery. It's easy, right? If just click and follow.
I don't know how. I mean, there half the time I can't find Dinos, I can't find West. I do searches. Again, being the lack of the tech, I don't know how to. In fact, I asked him, send me a link, and then I click on the link, and that's how I find them. I don't know how to find people or follow.
Okay, well, if you find them on when you're on their home page,
right,
of the gallery or whatever, like top a little to the right, there's going to be I think it's a little heart icon, and it says follow this gallery or something like that. So you just click it, and then you're following the gallery.
But I mean, okay, I'll experiment with it. I just, like I said, like Anchors. I couldn't find Anchors to save my life one day, and he had to message me what the link was. So
I'll email you Dino's gallery and West gallery.
Thank you so much.
All right. And number one Marvel fan, yes, just do it. And yes, get your wife to help you. That's it. That's all you can do. Yes, please do that. And yes, that you've seen him there. You go there or what? You know that Rick is always at Heroes? Okay, I guess. Is that where you're from? Number one Marvel fan? I guess so. Or maybe you just go to Heroes all the time. But either way, yeah, there you go. I don't want to get into it, Jason, whatever. I've already discussed this on the show as to why I think I'm near the end or whatever. Yeah, so I don't want to get into it. But yeah. Putting in your deathbed, 1 million, let my wife deal with it. There's many reasons, but that's one of the reasons I definitely don't want to happen. I don't want my wife to have to deal with it. I just want to leave cash behind, and so this way she doesn't. Yeah, no trouble. So, okay. So let me quickly. I'm not going to take any more questions at the moment, guys. So don't start asking them, or if you did already, please ask it again later. Let's get into some art. But let me just go quick and see if there's anything, because I don't want to, as you guys know, I don't want to ever miss you guys and make you feel like you're not part of the show. Okay. Marcus is asking, do you also put pieces in your bathroom? You have bathroom pieces too?
I don't have a single piece in my bathroom, no.
Okay. Okay. Stanley, ask later, please, because we got to get to some art. And he's asking about, don't answer now though, but do you have any specific grail pieces that you're hunting? Unless you want to say yes or no really quickly, you can do that.
Of course.
Okay. What else? CJ, I am not a photo denier. I'm just a photo hater. That's all. Alberto, good to see you, sir. Happy Sunday to you too. And no worries, man. Thank you. I really appreciate you as always. Thank you. Really appreciate it. See if you can catch it. Rick's a cool dude, and he's got a cool collection. So it's like you, very narrow focused, except he's Silver Surfer and you're Captain America. So tune in, and catch it later when you have a chance, man. It's gonna be pretty cool. The Ansel Adams hater. Why would you say I'm an Ansel Adams hater? I don't know. Okay, just start following you. Hey, there you go. Look at that, Paul P. I just started following your gallery, Rick. There you go.
Well, thank you, Paul P.
Okay, what's up, Mike? NSN Art. Only premiums can follow. That is true. Is it? I wasn't sure if that had changed to everybody. I was thinking it had been everybody, but okay, I'll take your word for it. Are you premium?
Again, I have no idea.
Well, did you when you opened your gallery, did you pay $75 for it, or was it just you opened the gallery?
I think that someone on the CGC boards had suggested we do that to help support the page. So I'm pretty sure that I remember doing some forum with the PayPal thing for that. Okay. But I'll have to double check.
Okay, there you go. And Dwayne Zepane says, thank you, Rick. Sharing keeps these wonderful pieces and allows us to travel back and capture some of our youth. Yeah, absolutely. And sorry, I'm coming late. ML, Mikhail, and ML Gallery. What are you trying to say there? You trying to tell Rick to follow your gallery? Is that what you're saying? I don't know, but okay. At least I suggested it, if that's what you're trying to say. And there you go. James will swing by and say hello to you at your booth.
Perfect.
When you're in Charlotte.
1600, 1700. I have that double end cap. It's been that way for the last 6 or 7 years. I used to be in the back by when it was in a different format. So,
okay. The Comic Art Boston. Thank you as always. I appreciate whatever time you can give me. And okay, you got to okay. I'm trying to get to it, but then there's so many comments coming in, and I'm all about the live chat crew. This is what the whole show is about. It's about all of us hanging out, so I don't want to miss anything. Hey, Scott's coming in. Evening all. How's it going, Scott? Rick, I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. Hope to see you at Heroes sometime. Yeah, check them out. 1600, 1700.
I go to Raleigh and visit Tyler and Anna, so maybe we'll get together because I know they do get-togethers around Raleigh.
Oh, cool. Okay. CJ's saying that you don't appear to be premium. So I don't know. You might
maybe why I can't figure out how to follow anybody.
There you go. There you go. That is it. It's funny, but it's actually probably true. That's probably the reason. That is so funny. Hamburger Boston. Lately, you've been unfollowing. Oh, some have been unfollowing your gallery. Sob. Oh, come on. You can't take it that personal. Listen. In terms of how that goes, think about my channel, Comic Art Boston, this YouTube channel, right? Early on, the first 2-3 months, I was like everybody else on YouTube. Please subscribe, right? And then I realized I don't really want a bunch of people subscribing who are not actually going to come back and watch. And I started telling everybody, please don't subscribe unless you think you'll come back and watch. And ever since then, people actually listen to me, and my subscriber growth has been unbelievably slow. Like this past week, since the last show, I lost 2 guys, gained 2 guys. So I'm break even or whatever, I'm not crying about it. Who cares? All I care about is mainly us. My friends who come in and agree to do the in-studio presentations with me, and the rest of you guys who come in to hang out in the chat. So after that, right, the fun is over for us, right? It's already done. We've done the live thing. And after that, if you want to watch on Rewind, you can. If not, whatever. I don't hold it against anybody. But so yeah, don't ever feel bad because somebody unfollowed you on Comic Art Fans, whatever. Sometimes it just gets unwieldy, and that's why they do it. It's nothing personal. So new format, art first, bullshit later, so I can go to bed. Yeah, I even thought of doing that tonight, but oh well, I guess it didn't happen. Sorry, Scott. Hey, the Nickster. Yes, please. Again, thank you. Thank you for the reminder, Nick. Everybody, please hit like if you can. And Rick always has the most amazing fantasy 15s at the con. You seem to have a very big fan there, Rick, in #1 Marvel fan.
He's going to get a nice discount next time he comes to the booth. So.
You hear that, man? Hopefully he still collects comics, though. That's the thing.
Well, if it's art, then bring some art and we'll talk about it. Because again, I want to expand my art network with folks. Yeah, absolutely. And Jason, thank you. You're right. I think that usually it's just people's memberships expiring. Since it is only premium people who can follow galleries, that's right. If you suddenly start getting dropped by people, it's simply because their membership expired. But Jason, tell me though, do you know for a fact? I'm not sure you would know this. When those people's memberships expire, and let's say a few days goes by and they realize it, and so they resubscribe, is the person who followed or whatever, all those people who they were following, does it still stay in memory and they're still following those people, or do they lose all that and they have to re-follow everybody all over again? I'm curious if anybody knows the answer to that. Thank you, Mr. Easy Go Lucky. Yes, like everybody. Yes, Scott, thank you. Comic Art Channel, nice of you to say that. Artwork, please. I'm coming, Comic Art Boston. Okay, everybody. Let's see some surfer art. Okay, now you're begging me, so I will do that. Rick, do you sell comics online? If you just do a quick answer for that, I'd appreciate it, Rick. After the hurricane, we closed the website down because we lost so much inventory, but I do post on Instagram, and you can always New Force Comics on Instagram, and I'm happy to sell that way. That's what I did over COVID.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, thanks. Come on, everybody. We can do better than 31 likes now. Come on. We got 37 people. I think it stays. Okay, thank you. Thanks, Jason. Appreciate it, man. Hey, Mark. What's up, buddy? Just joined in. How's it going, man? Good to see you. Thank you. Thanks for tuning in. Rick is not premium. Okay, so Mikhail has confirmed it that you weren't a premium. Does Rick ever sell art? Just do a quick one if you can, Rick, on that.
I've only bought as a collector. I've never had a piece to sell.
Okay, excellent. Let's rally some more likes. Hey, what's up, Fred? Good to see you. My guest from a couple of weeks back. Good to see you, man. Thanks for tuning in. It also allows larger scans. What does larger scans? Oh, you mean a scanner?
I hope maybe he means premium.
Oh, premium. Yes. Of course. Yes. Although personally, I actually don't like it when people do more than like it. It used to be that your max would be 1250 pixels tall, and then it changed to 2000. But I actually think 1250 is the best size to look at. When you start going above that, the problem is, and me as a viewer, I hate it because then you start having to not only scroll up and down, which is fine and everybody's used to, but it's so large that you then also have to try scrolling sideways, right? Horizontal, up and down. Personally, I've always hated that. I find it a pain in the butt. It's too close up for me. But yeah, whatever. At least the option is there if people like to do really large, super large scans. You gotta go. Okay, Carl. Yeah, repair a toilet. Okay, it didn't cause the problem. You didn't. Sure, you did. You clogged it. It sounds good, man. Catch you on Rewind. Leave me a comment and let me know what you thought of the show if you can. Thank you so much. Yeah, like Hoarder's Hide says, selling is for quitters. Okay, so yeah, guys, let's get into some art here. We will do that right.
Ruben, I'll real quick answer Marcus. He asked if I preferred Kirby or
sure, yeah, take it. Oh, here it is. Yeah, take.
Of course, I'm going to go with Denzel on this one. I don't know who wrote it, but there is no comparison in my opinion. It's Kirby all the way. So, okay,
there you go. Perfect. Marcus, I gotta say, that's not what I expected you to ask. Like, you really? Was that a serious question? I don't know why you would ask that. Like, what? I guess my question to you, Marcus, is what exactly made you think that Rick might even be particularly a Mobius surfer fan? I don't know. That's an odd question. I'm curious if you've been facetious, or I don't know, because sometimes you're a good jokester. So if you're being serious, I apologize, but that's an odd. For you, I think it's a bit odd. Wow, surprising at least. Okay, so we're gonna go, guys, to the art, and really quick, just because Nick is here, the last thing I'll do before the art. Please remember Fridays. I missed this Friday myself. You guys saw I wasn't there, but I just watched it tonight, a few hours ago on Rewind, Nick, and I saw you guys. All you did was chat and shoot the shit like we've been doing tonight, and didn't really get around to selling any art. But everybody else, please go to youtube.com/theexp. And that is Nikki B's show on Fridays. Here we go. There's Nick and Amy hiding behind the graphic. And it is a fun show. Great way to end the week, the work week, and start the weekend off. A lot of chat happening. It's like a chat / art sales show. So yeah, a lot of us are in the chat as well. So if you've never been there, give it a shot. Yeah, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific every Friday on the EXP. All right, everyone, let us go to the art. And here, what do we start with here? All right, so first piece, Rick. All right, choose this Silver Surfer from issue 15. I, just so you know, love John Buscema, one of my all-time favorites. I love him. I love Kirby, but I'm a realist. I've always preferred more realistic illustration. And so for that reason alone, I love Kirby's dynamic, his dynamism, but the figure work that Buscema put out, I just think my favorite surfer stuff of all time personally is the Buscema stuff from this 18 issue series. But what do you got to say about this?
This particular piece here,
yeah. Again, any memories about getting it, or how you got it, or why you maybe said yes to this one? Or
well, being a little bit older, and having Silver Surfer 1 be the first comic I bought, the 1 through 18, I went back later and tracked down the 48 and 49s and 50s and 55s, etc. But I tracked down 1 through 18 in the early 70s. So of course that is kind of my childhood nostalgic, although I bought comics off the stand at the 7-Eleven spinner rack like a lot of people did. The Buscema, with his brother, with Dan, some of the later stuff that, even Herb Trimpe and some of those guys keyed in on, that to me was what I grew up with as a youth. So that had the most influence on me. So I can honestly tell you that right now I have only turned down one page from issue 1 through 18. And that's
Oh, really?
Yes, I think it's from issue 11. It was on the Comic Connect website. It's got Shia LaBeouf in it, and it's got like a surfer face in the very bottom right. It's a great page. I turned it down. I think Glenn at Panel Page ended up buying it. That's the only page I haven't bought, but I think I've been offered about 40 pages from the 1 through 18 series, and I bought 39 of them. So there's only one page I haven't bought. So I am a sucker for Surfer on the Board. That to me, that top panel, I know Surfer is very small in the bottom right panel. And he's not, feature focused on this page. You got Galactus's head. So again, that was a page that, I wouldn't have said no to. And that was a fantastic. Like I said, anything Buscema 1 through 18, Kirby, of course, I love as well. But I pretty much have tried to buy every Buscema page offered to me.
Oh, that's good. Good. I'm glad to hear that as a big fan of his stuff, And yeah, I mean, look, the first 2 pages, you got great images of him on the board, which, like you said, right? And then on the last panel, the same thing. Plus, you throw in a cameo appearance by the FF down there.
And Galactus. What's not to love?
Yeah, Galactus. Oh, let's not forget Mephisto, right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, content-wise, it's like, look at the guest appearances galore. I mean, my God. The top panel is awesome. I mean, a lot of the panels are awesome, Paul. Yes, it is. And that Atkins, I don't know that I would say he's underappreciated. I think he's pretty well appreciated. I just think, CJ, that perhaps he's one of those guys who you rarely hear people say, oh, he's my favorite inker on so-and-so, So I would agree with that. But I do think he's appreciated, but maybe he deserves more. And if that's what you mean, I would agree to that too, Conor Gar Boston, superb page for content as well. Yeah, absolutely. There we go. Nick, killer page. Exactly. And let's see. And his pencils too. Yeah, that Dan was a good, absolutely. That's where he's underrated, I think, as a penciler. Yeah, so I agree with that for sure. Okay, everybody. From the late Silver Age, we're going to jump, hop, and skip forward to the very, very modern age. And show, actually, so you guys will see, rarely have I done this, but because these are unpublished pieces and there's no published version to put side by side, what I'm doing is I'm putting commissions together, 2 of them together, so you get to see more art on the same slide. So 2 pieces instead of 1. And these are by Alex Maleev. Any stories on these, Rick, at all?
Well, actually, my friend who I neglected to mention, Peter Lizaburo, I think a lot of people know Pete. He's been around a while. He introduced me to Annabelle Kirby, who I guess reps Alex Maleev. And asked if, I was interested in some pieces. That first one with Doom and Surfer, Alex did 2 commissions for me. He did a Surfer with Spider-Man, kind of in the image of Surfer 14, which is maybe my favorite issue from 1 through 18. And then, of course, I'm a big FF fan as well, and Dr. Doom. So that black and white charcoal type page, I think, was maybe the second or third commission for me that he did. It wasn't one where he drew it and then Annabelle offered it on her Kirby art page. That was actually done. That was actually per my request, as well as the Spider-Man one, which I don't know if you picked or not, but that's maybe my favorite of all of them, because that was the first one I commissioned him to do for me. So
okay, gotcha.
And the second one, to me, I just that was actually one that Alex had done. And Annabelle offered it to me after I bought a few pieces and done a few commissions. And it it called to me again. I like his colored stuff as well, but this charcoal, the black and white art, that was a piece that, again, I remember I couldn't wait. And that, strangely enough, that was a piece UPS almost misdelivered. She sent stuff UPS Air, and it had showed delivered to an address that was not mine. And I quickly got on the phone with my UPS driver, and he went and tracked it down and retrieved it, and had accidentally left it at a business with 3 other packages. And, so I sweated that one out, and it eventually made its way into my hand. So just the composition, the surfer and the hand up, it's just, again, what's not to love?
Yeah, absolutely. Just to be clear, Alberto, you're barking up the wrong tree, man. I'm the guy who said I don't think he's really underappreciated. I believe he is appreciated, and I love Dan's inking and even his penciling. So you're mistaking me for somebody else, dude. So there we go. But those are 2 beautiful pieces. And actually, to answer what you said about the Spider-Man one, the answer is I'd like to throw curveballs here and there. So kind of like FF55, Spidey was like low-hanging fruit, the obvious choice. So I said, I'm going to show not everything, but some of them, several of them, but not the Spidey one. And that'll give me the reason to say, hey, if you guys want to see the Spidey one, use the link that's right below and just click on it, and it'll open up in a separate tab or window, and you can see the just go into, he's got it in a Malieve gallery.
I do believe, unlike my published art, I do believe every Malieve piece I own, I have, because Annabelle was always great at sending me wonderful scans. So I was able to load all those. So I believe every Malieve piece I own, maybe a dozen now, are all in the gallery. So there's nothing new that I can add to that that's not already there.
Right. Paul, good to see you again. No, never need to apologize. Like I say, I we do this for fun, so.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, when you got to go, buddy. But we'll have to talk soon. All right. Thank you. And Marcus, Silver Surfer on the piece on the right. He's fighting the power. Exactly. Good one. And Hoarder's Hide says, underappreciated and overrated artist would be a good show for you to do. Hell no. That's something you can only do privately. There's no way you can do the positive stuff, right? That you can always do that, right? But you can't publicly do the stuff that sounds negative because, well, for obvious reasons. I don't have to explain that. Yeah, unfortunately, I would love it, but that's something I'm more honest about art and artists and their weaknesses. When you point out their strengths, I will also point out what I think are their weaknesses. But yeah, you don't want to do that publicly and disparage anybody, right? It's not you don't do that. Adkins was great on Doctor Strange. Exactly. I once owned a complete story. It was like back in the 90s. I didn't even remember which one, whatever. But he was absolutely great. Exactly. And I will say, in reference to that stuff for Dan's work on that stuff, that is definitely, I feel, underappreciated for sure. You never hear anybody talking about that stuff, because everybody was so, gung-ho and happy about, let me try to get a Ditko Strange Tales, Doctor Strange or whatever. But yeah, Dan Atkins did some beautiful stuff, as did even Marie Severin. I mean, Tuska. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people did some nice stuff on that. So, so let's see. I am all about the chat interaction. What's your point? I don't know why you're saying that, Scott. Okay, so Rick, I'm sorry. Oh, he's apologizing to you, but not to me. See that? When they get to know me too well, and then they're like, they don't give a crap about me. We'll catch on.
Thank you, CAB.
Yeah. Just want to congratulate once again. Yeah, excellently. Thank you. Thanks, Comic Art Boston. I appreciate it. And have a good rest of the evening. Thank you. And those are fighting words. Rick, did you see what Scott Hoarder's Hide said here?
Yes, I do.
Wow.
Again, that's the beautiful thing about art. It's the beauty's in the eye of the beholder. So
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And yes, Ruben the Sunshine Man. That's what you meant. Good. Okay. Perfect. Thank you. Yeah, earlier. So good night, you two. Yeah, no. I told you, never apologize. Never apologize. I thank you for all the support you give me. I don't care how much or how little on any given show. So thank you so much. Okay, so everybody, let's go to the next piece. And on this one, it will be, what do we got here? Yeah, so we're going to stay with contemporary art, but a little bit older than the Malif stuff. Some of you will remember this. I remember this selling at auction. I think it might have sold twice, once or twice before you picked it up, Rick, over the last several years. So this is the Bob Layton piece from Shadows and Light in from 20 to 25 years ago.
Yes.
Really kick ass. Really kick ass.
I believe I saw this one on Heritage, and of course it checked all my boxes. Great surfer image, 3/4 splash page, him on the board, the space background, the alien villain. It had everything I enjoyed, and I want to say I won that on a Heritage, and it may have even been a Sunday night auction. I don't think it was very expensive, if I remember correctly. So it just, like I said, I enjoy some of Bob Layton's work. I actually bought one of his. He did a commission, I believe, for a charity that I bought as well. That was pretty cool. So, again, that checked all my boxes, and I thought it was relatively inexpensive, or at least luckily no one bid me up horrifically on it. So I was very happy to add that to the collection.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I've always been a Bob Layton fan. Those crisp inks that he does, and it's kind of cool that it's pencils and inks on this piece too.
Yeah, double duty for him. So
yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's very beautiful. Okay, great. Let us see. Let me quick see what if you guys are. Here we go. The Rickster, or I should say, the Rickster. Layton rocks. Yes, very much so. And Hoarder's Hide. Scott, what are you saying? Yeah. So yeah, great piece there. Love Layton too. Yeah. There's a lot of Layton fans for sure. Mr. Wedding says a lovely Layton. Yes, very much so. And Tariq. Oh wow, superb published Layton SS. Wow, yeah, page. Yeah, very much. Okay, excellent. So I think from there, still, for me, it's even 25 years. That still feels modern. So from there, I think we're going. Oh, okay, a little bit further back, but still what I consider fairly contemporary. I think we're in the the Ron Lim era. Great piece here, and I believe this is one that you posted not that long ago, right, Rick?
Yeah, this was a fairly recent pickup. Again, it's one of those where as I have become more discerning and narrow the focus down, surfer on a board in space. I mean, I guess it's kind of a trivial thing to say, because that's kind of the quintessential to me image of Silver Surfer riding the surfboard through space. But I tend to be very, very focused and oriented on accumulating pages that meet those three criteria for me. I don't know that if anyone has one that I would pass one up that offers, and of course, again, a 2/3 type splash page. It's just, the layout is wonderful. It's action scene. I mean, it has everything that, as Jason just said, wow. I mean, it was a wow page for me. So I was so happy to add that to the collection.
Yeah. It's phenomenal. I mean, like you say all the time, Rick, like, when you're looking for stuff, like pages with surfer, on the board. I mean, not only do you got it, but it's huge, right? Like you say, outer space backgrounds are always the best backgrounds when it comes to the cosmics and surfer.
For me.
Yeah. Oh, I think for most. I think if you took a poll, we took a poll together, and you said you got two choices. You got an image of the surfer, on his board, flying quickly, surfing through the air. One's in space, and the other one's like through Manhattan. Which one would you take? I think it would be overwhelmingly space for the background.
I agree. That's why I didn't want to trivialize it, because I think the majority would agree. But that just, and again, not enough of those pieces that I've even seen available for sale. So when they do come up, very, very happy to put those on my mat board and the Mylar, and stick them up on the. I have a mantle and downstairs that I rotate the art every week through. So that's fun.
Yeah. Oh, what do we have here? Rick, just subbed to you on IG. There we go.
Excellent. New Force Comics. It's all one word. My wife and I came up with that name a million years ago, so I appreciate that as well.
Okay, excellent. All right, everyone, let us go and check out what is next on the docket. And I believe we're going back here. Oh, I think it's going to be Buscema. I picked out quite a few Buscemas. And yeah, let's check it out. Oh, yeah. Oh, this one. Yeah. Ooh, love this. I don't know what it is, but I've always loved the idea of like snow creatures, like creatures in the snowy mountains. And I think that may come from that one issue. I don't know if it was issues. Is issue 16 of Conan the Barbarian, where he's fighting the frost giants in the mountain. I don't know what it is, but I just love it. Or maybe it's my childhood like of things like those you know, what do you call it? The Yeti, abominable snowman, stuff like that. I don't know, but yeah, I love this stuff, man.
I think even though it's listed as Silver Surfer 15, I believe that's the page I have from issue 1.
Oh, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. Yes, I just okay. Yes, I didn't even notice that. Sorry, everybody. Yeah, sorry, Rick.
So
that is number one.
One of my goals, obviously, would be to have at least one page from all 18 issues. Now, I think some longtime folks, I've now been told, issue 4, 5, and 6 are still complete and not broken up. Is what I've been told. Had an opportunity to buy the entire issue number 5, but it was just at a price tag that I could not afford. So I'm not sure that my goal of having a page from every issue will come true, but to have a page from issue number 1, and again, Surfer, the board, available there, just to have the opportunity to buy that page was enough for me. I believe that actually may have been one of my first Buscema pages I got as well. In 2020, if I remember correctly.
Okay, yeah, excellent. Yeah, I'm a perfectionist to some degree, and so it is killing me that I somehow mistyped and somehow my finger hit the 5 when I was typing the 1, and whatever, it's killing me now. But anyways, yes, everybody, it's from issue 1. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah. Rick, a surfboard fight is greater than a snowball fight. Apropos. Very, very well said. Yes. Oh no, Jason, you too. My turn to bow out. I'll finish the rewind. I appreciate it. Have a great week yourself, man. Thank you so much. Yeah. Okay. All right, everybody. Let us check out the next piece. And for this, I don't know anything about this artist. You guys in the chat will probably fill me in. I don't know. Let's chat. We're going back, jumping back forward into the modern era. I don't know. Tom Grummett and Michael Ryan. I don't know. Tell me something about this piece, other than the fact that yes, outer space on the board. Awesome.
Again, this I want to say that. I can't remember who it was. I may have even been Encore pointed this out, that this page was being sold on eBay at auction. I believe this was an eBay page. Oh, I hadn't done a lot of buying on eBay, but I put a bid on it and kind of forgot about it. And then I woke up one morning and had an invoice to pay for it. So again, a 2/3 Surfer image on the board in space. It definitely struck my fancy and checked the 3 main boxes for me. And again, I'm a big fan of the 87 series. Obviously, I started reading that in 1987, owning comic stores through the 90s. And it's not Ron Lim, and it's not Greinberg, and it's not Marshall Rogers, but I thought Grummett did a very nice job with the lines and the planet background or moon background. And so for me, it was just one of those pages where I put a bid in and won it. So boom, happy.
Yeah, excellent. Out of curiosity, do you remember the rough general area of where this one might have landed, if you don't mind me asking?
Price wise?
Yeah.
I could look it up if
No, I don't. That's not that important. I was just curious.
I would think $1,500, $1,800 if I remember correctly. But
that's like. Yeah. No worries. No, I was kind of thinking somewhere that it was somewhere around.
He doesn't command limb prices by any means. So
right. Yeah.
But still cool.
Well, I mean, the thing about Tom is that his surfer stuff, he only did it as a fill-in. I believe it was it 3 issues or something like that. It wasn't much, you know.
Right.
He just needed to give whoever was doing it at the time a 3-month break kind of thing, you know. So it's not like he's known for the surfer, you know.
Correct.
And no, Stanley, to be honest, I can tell you. Let me come back to you real quick. Rick, just so you know, when I said earlier as I introduced that piece that I don't know much about the artist, Grumet or whatever, the focus of my collecting for the last 8 years has been Tom Grumet artwork. So okay. I was just being facetious about that.
There we go.
But Stanley, just so you know, I'm not jealous because I actually used to own a lot of the pages from that those 3 issues that Tom did. But this was back in the days when Tom's work was not my focus, and so I ultimately got rid of them. And I think you know by now, you've watched my shows enough to know that I'm very, when it comes to art, like I've studied art my whole life, and for me, the pencil or ink or combos are very important. And I will say that Matt Ryan, for me, was not a complimentary inker. I found it looked less like Tom's work because of his inks. And so it's a minor quibble. It's still, he did a lot of very splashy type pages in those 3 issues. But it's the fact that I wasn't a big fan of the Matt Ryan inks that allows me to not feel bad about having sold them off. I would like to still have, today, now that I focus on Tom's art, I kind of think like, it would have been nice to still have Tom's some of his surfer pages. But it makes it easier that I wasn't a fan of the inks on those issues to say like, okay, I don't have them, no big deal. I don't feel jealous. But also, I'm not the kind of guy who gets jealous. If other people land stuff that I collect, I'm like, you know what? Good for you. And if we went at it together at auction, you were willing to pay more, you deserve it. That's my point. That's always been my viewpoint, you know? So, yeah, I don't think anybody should get jealous. I mean, I get the feeling of, oh, man, I wish I got that or whatever. But, yeah, true jealousy, no. I'm happy for people when they get cool pieces. So, there's more than enough art out there that none of us can afford it all, right? So
that's the truth.
Yeah, exactly. And Matty Eyes, yeah. Okay, so let us look at the next one, guys. And the next one is, I wish Comic Art Boston hadn't left. Okay, well, he'll hopefully catch on a rewind, but yeah, check this piece out, everybody. So unpublished, of course, but Kirby, the king. What do you got to say about this one, Rick?
So interesting how I got this piece that, in fact, a lot of people know Fish Bends. The last page to the Buscema graphic novel, which I think the image ended up being turned into a poster and some other stuff, the surfer, the great majestic full, because every page was a splash. Unbeknownst to me, and this may have been 2021, someone on CAF had approached me and said, I'm selling this page. If you're interested in it, I need X number of dollars for it. And at the time, it was a lot of money. And so I consulted some folks about it. And one of the guys I consulted said, well, I know the guy that's trying to buy it. And it ended up being Fish, who I've become friends with. And so I didn't really feel comfortable buying it when it had already been offered to someone else. And so I kind of pulled back off of it and didn't buy it. And then as a consolation, the dealer had this piece that he offered me to say, that was nice that you let him buy that. I'll sell you this piece. And that was the first non-published Kirby page, and maybe the only Kirby commission I have. And to me, it just kind of captured everything that I like about Kirby and the Surfer, from, the hand pose to the foot pose on the board, the double lines on the head. It pretty much was perfect for me. And so that kind of was a consolation prize. And I joke with Fish sometimes that part of me wished I hadn't have asked about the other page and just bought it, but I wouldn't have gotten this page in its place. So I'm pretty darn happy.
Good. Excellent. You should be. So yeah, absolutely. Tariq is asking, is this a twice up?
No, it's on a standard. It's not like by twice up, I assume you mean the 1117 type.
No, the ones that's like from the pre-1968. So it's like
no. This was 77.
Much larger.
Yeah, it's on 8x10 or 8x11 or whatever size.
Oh, okay. Oh, so it's fairly
maybe a little bigger because I have it in one of the, Dino gave me all the dimensions. So it's in one of those 14x22 mat boards. So it's a little bit bigger, but it's not in the 18 by the big mat board. So it's not,
right.
I guess, not twice up like the FF55 pages and the.
Yeah, no, that's what we're talking about. Exactly. Yeah. Stuff like that. That's the twice.
I still don't know all the terminology. Heck, I didn't even know what a stat was until recently. So that's how novice I still am at this.
Yeah, but that's cool. I mean, that's the great thing about the hobby is there's always people out there that'll help you, and you don't have to feel like, embarrassed or old like an idiot. I mean, you're new, right? You got to learn somehow, right? So, and you're learning quickly, and that's all that matters. That you're willing to learn, and that's it, right? So that's fantastic. Okay. Let me see. Was there another question? Oh no, but Scott Hordershide wanted to say. This is hilarious. I've got a couple of things laying around that I called my idiot awards because I won them when I had way too much to drink.
Good times.
Yeah, good times. Yeah. When you're drinking, don't turn on the computer. How about that, Scott? Let me come back to you and then just put Fish is giving you a compliment here. You were a class act then and now.
Yeah, like I said, I've really grown to appreciate Fish, and he's been one of the guys that and he'll tell you, I message him probably more than he wants to know, asking his advice on stuff because he's been in the hobby longer. And I tell him jokingly that, if I hadn't known, I didn't know at the time who the other buyer was that was offered it before me. But I'm glad that if I didn't get it, like you mentioned earlier, or do you get jealous when other people have stuff? Would I love to own it? Of course. But knowing Fish now, what I've got to know him, I'm glad that he has the page. And I'm happy for him, so I'm not jealous. But I also told him, I think he told me he had to wait till his deathbed to get it. But I'm hoping, one day that maybe I outlive him and I can get it. Who knows? So, but yeah, I definitely have appreciated him and his counsel on some things. And so, he's got a wonderful collection from what I've seen. And he sold me several of my wonderful pages I've come from Fish. So,
yeah, never say never in this hobby too, right? So.
Now I think our discussions are that's a never. So it's kind
of well, whatever. I never say I try to still never say never. I'll tell you why. Simply because with experience, my own experience personally, there were times where there was never and never became reality. So that's why, right? It could happen. That's all I'm saying.
People ask me, like in 2018, I went through Hurricane Michael down in Lynn Haven, Panama City, Florida, destroyed my store, destroyed my home. Literally, that's why I moved from Florida to North Carolina. And because I, at the time, had not had some proper insurance and lost some stuff, it forced me to sell a comic collection, one of which, I had a complete Centaur publisher, which very few, folks even know about, but it hurt me to sell that. And I'd always said, I'll never sell these. But sometimes financial distress requires that to happen. So I never want to say never. And I hope that, like I said, people have kind of called me now a black hole when it comes to surfer art. And I hope I can remain that way all the days I'm alive. But you're right. We don't know the future. We don't know what's going to happen. So for now, at least someone earlier had asked, do I sell, stuff? I've only bought as a collector with no intention to sell at all, but I don't want to say never because like you said, you don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Fantastic. I did want to mention this. Check this, kind of an interesting comment from Stevie B, that the Kirby piece looks a lot like the 1975 Comic Art Convention program book, Silver Surfer cover by Jack Kirby. I don't remember what that one looks like, so I can't even give an opinion as to if I feel the same way or not. Do you off the top of your head remember which one he's talking about?
I have a copy of it somewhere, believe it or not. Okay. And the image is the classic. The thing at my commission is dated 77. So
yeah, that's
Kirby did that from 72 to about 78. There's probably 10 or 15 different commissions dated that I've seen that are all in that same vein. One of them is the cover to the Jack Kirby collector that eventually was used.
Oh, right. Yeah.
So yeah, he did a lot of those. So they all have that familiar Kirby. Like I said, you can't see it on the back of my phone. It's that same type Kirby look, but it can't be from that one because this one's dated 2 years later.
Right, exactly.
I have a copy of several convention that Kirby did covers for. So
cool. All right, everyone. Let us look at the next piece, which is also sticking around the same time frame. And you're going to have to forgive me in advance. The information on this next piece may be erroneous. I feel like it is, just based on my own research. I attempted to do a lot of research on Rick's behalf to try to find out if we could figure out more info on this. But check this piece, guys. So I just took the info from Rick's gallery, but then I had my doubts, so I tried to do some research. So Rick had posted that, and then we spoke privately, and he said that people had mentioned, oh, they think it might be from poster art for Marvel Mania. My thing is this, and then Rick can say what he wants after. The reason I feel it isn't simply because in this day and age, just by doing online searches, something like Marvel Mania poster art, or posters anyways, you would think you could at least find one picture, one scan of the published version of this if it was indeed a Marvel Mania poster. And I just could not find any proof that there was a color or even a black and white published version of this. So I can't say for sure whether this is Marvel Mania or not, and I can't even say whether it's published or not. And we're not even exactly certain what date it is from, but it's got to be 70 sometime. But what do you say to that, Rick?
Yeah, in fact, I think when we were messaging about this, I went back to the seller, who is one of the bigger dealers in the country. And again, you're right. Once we started fine tuning the specifics of it, it was talked about that this is what they believed it was from. This was one of the first pieces I bought in 2020. So, again, this was in my extremely early novice. I just thought, you know what, this is just so freaking cool that regardless of whether, because I just had an Alex Maleev I just bought. So I wasn't discerning between published, unpublished, commission. Yeah. I didn't really know all the terminology. I just knew that this piece is huge. This is a very large piece. I don't know if you can talk to the scan, but yeah, it fills up the stuff that I put like the FF55 pages in and the Infinity Gauntlet. It fills that entire map board and Mylar up. So it's a very big piece. It's not a small, normal page. And it's just, again, all the different interpretations of the Surfer. And it is signed. I think the back of it is signed by Rick Estrada. So I'm pretty sure the artist, that part's correct. The Gerald Fortin came from the seller, that information, as did the Marvel Mania supposition. But regardless, it was actually not very expensive, and it was just so cool. I had to have it. So, no, listen, Rick, in this hobby, I can tell you, having been in it since the 90s, there was a time, no joke, like in the early days of the internet, for many, many years, in fact, it lasted. It was almost like people would look at you cross if you mentioned that you bought a unpublished piece. Okay, over the years, like, it's still never going to be, an unpublished piece will never be as sought after as published pieces, whatever. But they certainly have become far more, like, I guess the best way to put it is to say that as the hobby has grown over time, a lot more people have come into the hobby who are okay with the fact that, like, they don't get hung up about the fact that, but it's not published. They focus more on, hey, it's a great looking piece. Oh, that's what I loved about it. And Fish, actually, if you read the comments, Fish has come up with some information which kind of echoes.
Yes, I was going to get to that in a second as well. Exactly. Where is it here? I just lost it. Hold on. Sorry, everyone. West, a bunch of Silver Surfers on the board. Tons of them. I didn't count them, but that's a lot. And Marcus, has to be some feel, because I guess if we're assuming it's Rick Estrada and Fortin, if you go to Rick's gallery and you look at the comments on this piece, somebody mentions that all those images are actually, and they are clearly, he's aping Buscema. We know that, right, by the style. But apparently somebody commented and said that they're all images taken from Silver Surfer #1. That I never verified, but if so, that's kind of interesting and cool. So yeah, and so where's Fish's comment? So here it is, right? So this page is on Heritage, listed as Estrada and Fortin, okay, and okay, so they determined that it was unused, okay, and also couldn't define the exact year as well. So okay, so yeah, so we pretty much said what we what it seems to be. Yeah, so I figure the fact that I wrote Marvel Mania because that's what you had written and somebody told you.
Sure.
I'm thinking
I'll go back and edit that. Like I said, that was one of the very first pieces I bought. I want to say in 2020. So I don't know what date I uploaded it CF, but that was one of the first ones. So I was very new and novice at, just entering the information properly. But I can fix that one now that Fish has given us some little more info.
Yeah, but what I would suggest is I would not necessarily wipe out the words Marvel Mania, but because there's no proof yet that who knows, maybe it could have been some kind of thing they used in Marvel Mania. Like, we don't know. I mean, you could delete it, but it doesn't hurt to say may have been used in Marvel for some kind of Marvel Mania, issue that they gave to the fans or whatever. Who knows, right? It's the time period.
I scrolled all the way to that 2020 text, and that was copied word from word what I put on.
Yeah.
So that's how it was originally presented to me. So
right. Oh, and when you and I spoke privately, what you said was also up. You can write that in the description that it could also have been potentially published in one of the fanzines of the time. Right? That's
again, that was also in that text that it was speculated that might be where it ended up. Right. But nonetheless, that is actually one of the very first pieces I bought. It's one that stayed on my mantle for a long time because I didn't have a lot initially, and it is huge, and it is, like I said, I don't like to use the term glorious, but it's a pretty darn impressive piece in person.
Oh, I'm sure. When it's not in person, it looks impressive. So I can imagine they always look better in person anyway. We all know that, right?
Without question.
So yeah, absolutely. Kirby Crackle Racing Stripe. And CJ's coming up with more info. Stated as unused. Oh, right. And you're talking also about the heritage thing. Dino, the Mona Lisa is unpublished. So yeah, whatever. I mean, now you're comparing the boom. I don't know if I compare the Mona Lisa with fine art to illustration, but yes, absolutely. I'm all even me, right? I got caught up in that whole thing in the early days. Oh, unpublished, whatever. But I'll say I do get it. I do get the fact that the people who don't really want to buy unpublished, I get it, because a lot of the attraction of buying illustration from comic books is that you're like, oh, it's so cool that you can see this one-of-a-kind piece was once seen by thousands and thousands of people inside this comic book, right? So I get that that's the attraction. But having said that, I still think that, as you mature and age through the in the hobby, I think that, yes, most of the stuff you're buying, if you're buying, comic book art, is going to be published. I don't think that it's such a bad thing to appreciate art for art's sake and buy some occasionally, even if it's not published, if you love what it looks like. If you love what it looks like, absolutely. So yeah, CJ. So where'd you get that info, CJ? That now you're saying it's an unused tryout page? Because I mean, that also could be true, but where are you getting that info? You got to let us know, because I don't want to spread, even if it's like uncertain info. I don't really like to spread it unless we have kind of the, the
provenance.
Yeah, the provenance. Yeah, where did you get that? But I guess it's a possibility for sure. And nice large piece nevertheless. And unpublished is a bargaining point in the hobby for sure. So West also says, no nostalgia for an but that's not really true, because it doesn't always have to be the exact image. You can be nostalgic for the character, because a piece like that still reminds you of the Buscema Silver Surfer from that original series, right? Yeah. So, yeah. But okay, everyone. Thank you very much for that patience. And from that piece, let us move on to the next one. This is another great one. I mean, which one isn't here, honestly? But let's check this out. So from issue number 7, for the classic 4-panel layout with like surfer versus surfer, like brother inking brother, Awesome, man. What do you want to say about this, Rick?
And I believe this will, Dino, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Dino called me one day and I was driving in my car and he says, Rick, I'm going to sell a page. And I think it's right up your alley. And Dino, I'm sitting there driving, and Dino texted me, and I had to pull over into a post office parking lot because I was so excited.
Oh, really?
I kind of glanced on my phone while I'm driving, but I didn't want to get in a wreck. And
Yeah,
I pulled over, and to Dino's credit, I honestly believe he sent me the page before he ever even got my check. So
wow.
this is, and I think I have 7 or 8 or 9 pages from issue number 7. And this is without a doubt, of all the ones I have, far and above my favorite. I mean, again, it's just, and so and again, Dino, Dino, he's the idiot that would sell that beauty. Like I said, that just is a testament. Dino and Wes, like I said, they're the 2 first guys I text on this stuff. But that page there goes into a prized possession, probably one of my top 10. And I think, like I said, I'm at about 225 pieces, and that's a top 10 for me. So.
Okay, good. Well, it should be, and I think it would be for any server fan, So, Marcus says, but he knew you wouldn't open it until the check clears. Gotcha. Oh my God, that's classic. Wow. Rick says, pinball machine tilt on the last panel. What do you mean? Oh, right. Yeah, I know, it's awesome for sure. Yeah, Stanley says, Dino sells some great stuff. Really great stuff. That is true, too. Very much so. What a banger. Absolutely. And Dino says, looks like Rick versus Fish fighting over an IG splash. That's good, too. These guys are coming in late. And how come everybody dropped off? What the heck, man? How come there's so many people left? It's not even 10 o'clock. What is happening? We're looking at killer surfer art, man. Okay. All right. Everyone, let us go to the next piece. Yeah, gosh, I love this. I love pretty much all Buscema art, especially when it's nicely inked like this. But yeah, that's one of my faves too. Okay, everyone. So from there, we're going to jump into the modern era again. I like to go and switch it up and go back and forth. It just makes it a little bit more interesting, since there's fans of all eras in the audience, So for this, we are jumping to this variant cover with Galactus. This oh man, I don't need. It's awesome. That's all. It's awesome. Enough said.
Yeah. Well, the history behind this one, and again, I mentioned my buddy Pete Lazazaburu.
Okay.
So unbeknownst to me, I was bidding against Pete for this piece.
Oh,
and this was again 2020 or whenever it came up, and I had no idea that I was. You don't know who you're bidding against. It's I can't remember if it was Comic Link or Heritage or wherever it was, and I must have been Comic Link, because it's one of those where you place a bid in. At Heritage, you can keep bidding until you win it if you want. So it must have been Comic Link or Comic, where you just put the bid in, and I didn't know again how much it was worth. And so maybe about 6 months later, Pete texts me and says, and Rick, I know you're a great surf fan. Look what I have. And I was like, you son of a gun, you're the one that outbid me on this piece. And so he made a promise to me that if he ever sold it, he would sell it to me. And sure enough, maybe sometime last year, the year before last, I get a text from my buddy Pete saying, all right, Rick, here it is. Here's what I want for it. And the same thing, I couldn't get him a check fast enough. And also to Pete's credit, I believe the art came in the mail before he even ever got my check. So
that's awesome. No, it's fabulous. Oh, and I wanted to ask you, actually, I've been meaning to ask you ever since I was putting the slide together. Would you say that the original, in terms of the intensity of the colors, is it closer to the left or the published image on the right?
I have a copy of the book with the art, and the book itself, and maybe it's just the way the printing process is. The book does make it look a little bit kind of, you can see how, on the right hand side, but the art is very much, it's very detailed, more detailed than the printed page. So I'd say the left is a pretty good representation of it. It's a lot, the lines are crisper, the colors are sharper, it got a little muted when it got printed onto a comic book cover. So the original art definitely is not way better, but it's more complimentary than the published comic art itself.
Right. And I just want to point out to everyone, if you want to compare anything on it, compare Galactus's hand, and you will like, it's freaky how look at carefully at the fingers. You see all that like purple mesh in between the joints of the fingers, and you don't really see that on the published. It looks like it's all one color practically, you know.
Yeah. The detail on the, you know, in the in-person piece is as you would expect it to be.
Yeah, that's fabulous. Yeah, very, very nice. And I just want to, I've been keeping that West's comment up just so I don't forget while we were talking. Just wanted to say, West, you know, if Rick is ever interested enough that he would want to do it again and say, send me another 20 images of stuff that he doesn't have posted, so it's kind of more secretive stuff that
you could debut the pieces, and it would force me to get to my office and scan them.
There you go.
Yeah, I would be happy to do that, because they're and of course some awesome. People saw at auctions and whatnot, but yeah, that would probably get me motivated to say, okay, here's 20 really cool pieces that maybe I would pick that I like. Yeah. Different, you know, not that every piece you picked is awesome, of course, but yeah, they're not on CAF yet, and then I would post them on CAF after you did them, so that you could debut the pieces.
Yeah, and the nice thing, actually, I mean, not that it doesn't matter to me, but if you do that, it's not like for anybody who's, because I've had people, believe it or not, I've had people say, when I've sort of suggested, hey, why don't you send me scans of this and that, and they're like, oh, but I haven't put it in my gallery yet. I want to debut it on my gallery, but I'm like, it's not the same. It doesn't matter. It's not going to hurt you, because there's going to be ultimately way more people there, because CAF gets more traffic than my YouTube channel. So it's not going to hurt you. You know, you're going to get a few hundred people seeing it on my show, sure. But then over time, you're going to get way more people seeing it in your CAF gallery anyways. It doesn't hurt you. It's not going to take away any of the excitement just because it was on my, YouTube show or whatever. But yeah, that'd be great. If you ever want to do it in the future, yeah, I'm all for it. So Wes, there you go.
It would, yeah. Wes is a great guy. Like I said, it's certainly, in fact, I'll make sure I get, because Wes has sold me some pieces, and he's found me some wonderful pieces in the early days. And I, like I said, I can make sure some of those WS pieces get in there. So
cool. All right, so that's exciting. I would love to do that, man. Let me see. So, sorry, took it off the screen before I saw your comment, Tariq. Speechless at how great this Ryan Brown cover is. Yeah, for sure. No, it's absolutely fabulous. The original is crisp. Yeah. That's the beauty of original art. Like it's just, it never really seems to print exactly like you would want it to, Really quick question from Stanley. Rick, do you have any art from FF48?
I have asked people. My understanding is that there is no known art from 48 right now. At least that's come from a couple of the major dealers that they've never seen a page offered. So I do not. My understanding is there are pages from 50 out there, but nothing from 48 or 49. That's what I've been told. How true it is, again, I'm still too novice, but that would obviously be the ultimate. When someone asked me what a grail was, that was a question that was done earlier. A page from 48, the first ever appearance, obviously, would be a grail for me. I know Joe Leo owns the cover to 4, and you've got Halpern has the cover to 1, so stuff like that would be huge that I'd love to have, which not going to happen. Fissler's got 74. Bashar's got the cover to 72. So the true grails out there, I'm never going to see in my collection, but it certainly doesn't stop me from appreciating them. But if a 48 page ever surfaced, I'll go to the mat with anybody for it and do what I need to do to get it. So
yeah, I mean that's what we refer to as the exception to the rule. You know. Yeah. For those types of pieces, you go to the mat, as you say.
Sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And because let's face it, you have to, because there will be others going to the mat at the same time. Sure. Yeah. So, all right, fabulous stuff, everyone. Thank you so much for the questions. As always, Stanley. Let us check out the next piece, and for that one, we're going back, or I should say, forward. Roughly the same time period, maybe a year or two forward. And back to Alex Maleev here, a couple of more pieces. And I put these together. You'll probably see why I chose these two side by side. I'd like to show a compositional thing. It looked like the sort of polar opposites of each other, and I thought that was really, really cool. Love the color schemes on both. I'm intrigued. And I'm curious. I'm intrigued about the left one. If you have any info as to what exactly Surfer's doing, sprinkling that magic surfer dust, with, you know what I mean? Like,
so I wanted one kind of showing the power cosmic. That was Alex's interpretation in a very subdued way.
yeah.
Now the one on the right, he did, and I just bought it from Annabelle Kirby at Kirby, so I didn't request that. That was just one that came up, and I thought, again, the colors, the composition, it just struck me as being a wonderful piece. But the one on the right, I kind of want, but I didn't want, the blast cosmic, power cosmic coming out of there. I kind of wanted his interpretation of it. And so that's my understanding, is that's, in his thought process, whether, again, we'd have to ask Alex the motivation, but you kind of tell him what you want, and then he does what he wants.
Yeah, sure.
I love the piece, so.
Yeah, like you said, he interprets. Yeah, yeah. Well, I liked it. That's what, like I said, he's sort of looking down. He's very somber, and yet he's doing something I've not seen him do in comics. So I knew it. Obviously, it had something to do with his power, right?
Sure, yeah.
And so I just wondered if it was like more of just a basic artistic choice because it looks interesting, or whether, right, or whether, because I wasn't sure if maybe, Alex actually, he's doing something specific, and we need to know what that is. But yeah, I figured it was just more artistic choice, right? So fantastic. And Marcus, I just wanted to say, there you go. Speaking earlier about the Mobius, we got a Mobius homage on the right hand side. So
very true.
Speaking of Mobius, so yeah, very, very cool. Both of them very lovely. So okay. Oh, and what are you saying? He waxes the board as vigorously. As vigorously as what? CJ, you're saying what? He's giving up nose. Nice. Oh, you guys. And what does Mike say? Surfer and on tattooing. Actually, on the right-hand side, now I see that. I didn't even think of that before. It's like mixing, surfer in the world of Star Wars. Okay, very, very cool. Let us go to the next one. And for this next one, I believe it's going to be the first piece, which is not from a surfer comic. And it is very cool, which is why, of course, I'm showing it. And that is from Hulk 250 by Sal Buscema. And you guys might notice, because I know some of you have, if you have eagle eyes, you'll notice that on the original art, there is right across the middle, horizontally, there is a watermark of a URL called comicartcollection.com. That is not Rick's. He's probably staring at this thing. What the heck is that? That's not my scan. That's not the picture I have of it. And it is not. That is the one that I have on my computer of this page from many, many years ago. This was a page that Rick has a photograph that it just wasn't, it didn't show the art nicely enough. And even though I normally wouldn't want to show pieces with watermarks because they kind of annoy me, I figure I still want to show the piece because it's not only does it have Surfer, but it's an Hulk origin page. I had to do it. So I made an exception, and I figured I was willing to put up with the watermark. I thought that was nicer to show it better than the photograph that Rick had. So that's why I'm doing this. But Rick, what do you think about this page, man?
This is another page. This particular individual, he lives overseas, and he offered me, he was going to sell one of his 2 pages. And you got
it from Eelco?
Yes. I got it from overseas.
Okay, and that's whose watermark this is. That's why.
Okay, good. Yes. Well, he said, I'm going to sell one of these 2. And of course, Dino will tell you, like I said, I texted him. I said, because the other page had a little more surfer to it. But as Dino pointed out to me in his experience, the Hulk transformation page really is what sold me on this page. It's pretty awesome that we've got in the bottom left, the 4th panel has the surfer on board. But again, being a comic book guy, the whole transformation page, and Dino only reaffirmed for me that was definitely a choice between, because the seller wouldn't let me have both. He only needed to sell one to pay for a heritage auction, and so that's the one I chose. And again, I think I may have only asked Dino about it and no one else, only because he kind of reaffirm what I was already thinking, so I didn't have to ask other people. But once again, that was the crossover appeal, as Marcus says. Yeah, love the Hulk transformation page of that, and it had this. Now the other page, which again is probably maybe still up there, had a little more surfer to it. But I just thought for me, this was a nice diversion from the page that people would think I would normally choose.
Right. Yeah, I gotta say, I mean, as someone who there was a time when I was like you, focused on single character for several years. I was a Hulk collector. And so had this page been made available to me at the time, of course, it would have been part of my collection. And of course, for me at the time, the fact that it's an origin transformation page, that's what, of course, would have been the killer reason to buy it. And it would have been just a massive bonus to have the fact that the Silver Surfer is flying through the page as well,
Now, how do you pronounce? I know it's Elko. It's like Veldhuizen or something. I think.
Ilko Veldhuizen or Veld. Okay, I'm not sure if it's Veldhuizen or Veldhuizen.
Yeah, we only communicated via email or via the CAF. So I was always curious of the pronunciation, but you definitely had the seller exactly right. So and as I told you, he provided the scan for me, so that's how I was able to upload it, because I've yet to scan them myself.
Yeah. There you go. So yeah, I'm glad we could show this. I really wanted to show this one. Yes, exactly, Scott. Nice to have the Surfer and the Banner Hulk transformation. That's key. I mean, even people who don't collect specifically Hulk art, would love to have this, because there's tons of people who just love transformation sequences, origin pages, right? It's always special to have those types of pages. So,
yeah, and Wes made a comment that Wes actually helped me get some of those other Hulk 250 pages I have. So again, this goes back to my appreciation of these guys that helped me out, especially in the early days, because I didn't have a clue what I was doing. So,
yeah, well, there you go, West. As you've seen, you've hung in long enough to know how much Rick profusely thanks you for everything you've done for him.
There you go.
All right. So from the 1980 era, what are we going to go to here? Back to the great era of John Buscema. And for this one, we are doing a cover. I mean, I'm not going to say anything. I want you to say whatever you want to say about this, Rick.
Okay, so this came up in Heritage Auction in summer of 2016. I believe it was late July, early August. And again, at the time, I was not collecting art, but I knew I had wanted a Kirby, which Wes had helped me get before, and I knew I'd wanted a cover from the original series just to have. Right. I wasn't collecting art. I was at Tampa Comic Con when this art was being sold via Heritage, and I got a six-figure box of CGC comic books stolen. And at the time, yes, it went missing. Eventually, once the FBI got involved and stuff, that box was returned. It was an accident, it was a quote unquote accident. The other vendor had spilled his cart and accidentally picked it up. And to make a long story short, I wasn't sure of the whole insurance process. This was $135,000 of comics that had just gone missing. And so I didn't bid on this particular page. And a comic book friend of mine, he lives in the UK. He's a doctor. He actually won the page from Heritage. And then that October in New York Comic Con, he knew us as Silver Surfer fan. He says, I've only bought this page because I thought it went cheap, but I had heard your story that you were going to bid on it, but couldn't because you lost a box of comics. And so Michael agreed to sell it to me at New York Comic Con there on my birthday. So this page was actually bought on my birthday. I wasn't collecting art, but I knew it'd be cool to have an original cover. And so that's how I was able to obtain that one.
Wow. Well, it's a great story and befitting a great cover, right? So yeah, that's like Mr. Easy Go Lucky says, that's wow, it's so it's so classic. And what's funny, Rick? So again, I like to say back in the day, I always end up sounding like I'm some like really old man, but yeah, back in the day, in the early days of the internet, right? And we were, those of us who were in the hobby, like this cover had come out back then, right? And back then, believe it or not, you would like you would hear more about how people were bitching and complaining that, oh yeah, it's cool, but the Silver Surfer's so small. You would literally hear more of that nonsense than like, my God, wow, Silver Surfer 13, the fabulous image swooping in towards the reader, blah blah blah. It's like, yeah, that's how it was back then. Like, everybody would always find something. Nobody's ever happy. It's like this thing comes out of the woodwork, right? This beautiful classic cover, and most people were just, oh yeah, but it's so small, blah blah. Oh, come on, yeah, but
I will add one more thing. I read
yeah.
Tariq's the terrific birthday gift. I actually forgot my dear mother was actually who got this for me for my birthday that particular year. Because again,
Oh yeah,
I wasn't really collecting art. I think I was so excited that I had been offered, and she knew the whole story about me not getting to bid on this page in the summer and missing it. That
yeah.
it kind of became my birthday / Christmas present from my dear mother that year. And so
Wow.
again, so this was my pre-collecting phase. So I wanted to give her credit because that's one of the, parents are, wonderful and do things for their kids, but that's one of the best birthday presents, as Tariq said, that I've probably ever gotten. So,
Man, I mean, wow. By any chance, does your mother have any interest? And do you know if she would have any interest in adopting a 52-year-old man?
well, I can tell you that she does, believe it or not, shares my passion
Yeah,
for the Silver Surfer art. As you found out that first day we did the test,
yeah,
due to COVID,
yeah,
she's staying with us right now, and I would say
yeah,
maybe 3 weeks ago, uh, she went down there and we looked at a ton of pieces of art. So I think she gets excited for me, since I'm so excited about him. But it's just
yeah,
nice. I mean, to have even at our age, to have that kind
yeah.
of parental support in our hobbies and stuff. So
Absolutely, absolutely. West, it's been real, man. We appreciate you for sure.
thank you,
Thank
Wes.
you. Yeah, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Enjoy the movie, by the way. Yeah, no, that's amazing. Thanks for sharing that your mother gifted this to you. It makes it incredibly more special for you. Yeah, absolutely. That's a what this is what I love. It's what I love about the show. Doing these shows is the stories, right? Like, this is why I make it more of a talk show, because the more we talk, I mean, to me, that's just, I don't want people to think that I don't care about the art. It's just, I just love the stories and talking to other like-minded collectors in some ways more than I want to look at the art. Like, it's, I don't know how to explain it, but I just love talking and hearing other people speak about their experiences, and we can relate to each other, and it's fantastic. So yeah, thank you for sharing that, like Tariq
Well,
says.
like I said, that triggered me. And again, sometimes the piece, it doesn't always have to think about it, the
Yeah,
older you get. But yeah, I actually remember being in New York, and my wife and son, well, my family's there, but I remember calling my mother and saying, "You're not going to believe what just happened." And she's like, "Well, I want to give that to you for your birthday." And I was like, "Man, you just can't be as appreciative as I probably needed to be." So
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Scott, as you've already heard me, I've already asked if she would be interested in adopting a 52-year-old. I don't think she needs a 49-year-old toy boy. All right, we'll leave it there. But yeah, amazing story, amazing art. So fantastic pair up. So Rick, any of your original art featured in an artist edition?
Well, I don't think so. 'Cause I think the last artist edition that has that complete 5 and 6
Yeah,
story, like I said, they haven't broken those up yet. I was
right,
offered the entire 39 issue 5 story, but like I said,
right.
the price tag was just more than I could handle.
Yeah.
I only have that one big Silver Surfer, the big one that was pretty. I don't know, was it not Dark Horse, but I forgot the company that maybe it was Dark Horse.
IDW.
Was it Dark Horse that made those big, huge, oversized?
Oh,
I'm drawing a blank on
yeah,
who did
yeah.
it, but now
You mean you're not talking about the IDW stuff?
maybe it's the IDW. Thank you very much.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
IDW, this big oversized. Now,
Okay,
I bought the Silver Surfer one years and years ago. Whether I have a piece in there or not, I haven't gone back to compare, but that'd be interesting to
right.
do. But I
Yeah,
still,
yeah,
as I said, I still have 170 pages I need to scan and get into CF, and so I don't always have. I make notes on everything as I buy them and I rotate, but I can only fit 7 pieces on my mantle.
right.
So changing them out every week, I can get through my entire collection in a year and appreciate it for a week.
Right.
But like everything else, I sometimes forget what I have or where I got it and things like that.
Right. No, understandable for sure. All right, cool. So from the Silver Surfer 13 cover, let us move on and show the next piece, everybody. I think this is going to be the John Byrne. Had to get a representative piece in there because I believe, at least publicly, it's the only one from that Byrne 1982 one shot that you have. Oh no, you had
two pages, right?
Yeah, you had two, and I chose. I just had to make a choice. I had to make a choice, and so I chose this one. So yeah, page 43. And I again, the second out of two exceptions I made, and Rick's photo I didn't think it would show well enough, so I just used the one that I had on file. And as you see in the first panel, it does have an old watermark because this is from I probably saved this back in 2005 or something like that, from when it first came out, But I thought it at least it would show everybody a lot better, But yeah, I love the whole Mephisto thing, and I just had to show one with Mephisto because I love that. And let me see. Okay, no, yeah, that was the Byrne Palmer. Okay, so everything's good on that. Yeah. So what? Do you remember buying this off the stands, Rick?
I remember buying this book off the stands. Absolutely.
You did, yeah.
I started in 72 and I bought everything, or I didn't have my first little, direct account store till 85. So this would have been something I would have bought, at a 7-Eleven or a used bookstore, newsstand or something. But I definitely remember buying it. In fact, I probably still have that to this day too. This page and the page before, page 42 and 43, I believe both came from Bashara. And again, he's like, Rick, I got these, back-to-back pages. They're Surfer. And I love John Byrne. In fact, in the 90s, when John Byrne was working for DC, the Wonder Woman titles and all the titles he was drawing, I got into a thing where every single issue I wrote in, and mailed off, how you have reader comments in the back. And we started carrying on a little conversation through some of these books. So I've always been a John Byrne fan. And I think when Bashara offered me these 2 pages, again, I bought them without hesitation. So,
yeah. No, cool. I mean, and in all the years that I've been involved in the hobby, every time these came up, I mean, they go fast because let's face it, it's John Byrne, it's Silver Surfer, So these have always been pretty coveted. So Stanley Sig, yes, exactly, plus John Byrne, but right in the smack dab in the middle panel, which is why'd you do it there, John? You had a perfect spot on the bottom of the right-hand border, But yeah, whatever. It doesn't distract too much because at least it's on a sort of blank part of the background.
Yeah, I guess if you have to sign it on the actual art itself, that'd be where to do it.
Yeah, exactly. Mike NSN Art is joking around with you here.
No, I actually have opened it and looked at it cover to cover. So.
Okay, cool.
I've also dropped it on my foot and broke a toe with it. So
did you?
Yeah. It fell out one day. I had laid on the bed and I was standing there and it kind of slid off and, coming out of the shower, whatever. And it landed right on my left foot, pinky toe, and took the nail off and just destroyed it. It's a big, heavy book.
Well, for sure. Yeah, that's why I'm freaking out. Wow, you dropped that giant thing on your foot.
I knocked it. It only fell 3 feet from the bed, but it took care of my toe.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, I would imagine. Yeah, those things are not light.
No.
Yeah. Okay, excellent, guys. So from Byrne, we jump to, I believe it's going to be our one last look at Alex Maleev. And these are 2 more beauties. And I wanted to give a good representative view of all his commissions. And so I put these 2 together, figuring just kind of like the last 2, they looked like opposites of each other. These kind of look like similar sort of layouts of each other. And I thought, they're just really, really interesting. So what memories might you have about getting these?
And again, as you see, I think I've got about a dozen of them. And, I got into a period where, Alex was doing a lot of Silver Surfers and a lot of different interpretations. And like you said, this kind of felt like night and day to me. I think I bought them back to back. And that was kind of what I think in the little message I got, that was kind of the focus on it, was the contrast between an early morning and then a late night, still capturing what he was doing with the different colors he was working with and stuff. It's just, less of a board, and these are more, surfer driven, but I really enjoy his work, obviously. So boom.
Yeah. And there's some, some interesting comments by Marcus, because the thing with paintings that are commissioned paintings, right? You don't truly know, especially when it's sort of like, backgrounds like this, where there's nothing defined per se, right? There's no buildings or what have you. And so the more you look at them, you can sort of, different people will probably interpret it in different ways, right? So it really does have kind of like, fire and ice.
I like the fire and ice comments. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I never thought of it that way, but I was always night and day. But
night and day. But you're right. That works too. That's my whole point, right? Is like different people it'll just different things will come to your mind, right? So that's what I think is fabulous. Yeah. So very, very cool. Yeah, these are beautiful. So very, very lucky to have those. So okay. So from there, we are going to go into outer space again, everybody, to this piece inked by a former Montrealer, Jeff Isherwood, over John Buscema pencils. Let's take a look at this. And talk to me, Rick.
Okay, so this page I bought it. This actually came, I believe, from Bashara. This was the third or fourth thing I bought from him. I also bought an FF cover, but this was a piece that he kind of when he showed me, he says, "What do you think about this?" And it was like, okay, that to me, it was, as much as I love the Sal Buscema cover and the other stuff I bought and appreciate it. This would also be one of my top 10 pieces. Full entire space splash. I mean, just the Jeff Isherwood inking, of the surfer and the reflections and the planets. This, like I said, this is one of my top 10 favorite pieces. I'm really glad you picked several of my top 10 favorite pieces. And so, when Bashar actually was like, well, I don't know if I want to sell this yet. And, again, maybe it was negotiating tactics or whatever, but I was like, dude, you showed it to me. It better be in that package. So, and it was. And so, I was very, very, like I said, this, and it was an early 2020 purchase. So, and again, this was kind of, believe it or not, indirectly set up by Wes. So,
I think Rick, at this point, I think we can believe it.
Yes. So,
anytime we think that West may be potentially involved, we will probably believe it happened. That's cool, man.
He was also involved in one of my biggest regrets when it comes to collecting art, and that was, and I forgot, I think either Jason V or Fish or someone told me who actually owned it, but I was on a cruise to Alaska, and the Silver Surfer 1, the Marshall Roger covers, Wes texted me and said, I can get this for you. Do you want it? And of course, I immediately said yes. The problem was I was out in the middle of the Pacific Northwest Ocean, and my text didn't get to him for a couple hours. And in that interim of him not getting a response from me, unfortunately, someone else bought the piece. And so that's one of my, one of those things you kind of regret that, yes, I could have had it, but I didn't have it. But I'm happy of the gentleman that does have it. We've communicated, and again, it's not for sale, but I told him if it ever was, please let me know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's good. And I've actually heard and been told by other collectors on several, like over the years, like many times I've been told that when they say, oh, what you just said, that, oh, boy, I would love to have it one day. And if when they say to you, oh yeah, sure, if I ever let it go, I'll let you know. I've heard many examples of that person actually remembering even years later and actually getting in touch with the person to say, hey, listen, you still interested? I'm ready to part with it, And in fact, it happened to me in the last 2 weeks, something that I had been coveting for like 15 years in my friend's collection. And he reached out or whatever. So yeah, it's cool when that happens,
And again, I've sent out many of those messages, and I try to save all the messages I get on CAF So, like I said, if that unfortunate day ever came where something had to go, I too would like to honor people that have, appreciated and asked for stuff and let them have a shot at it.
Yeah, no, that's perfect, man. I mean, that's I guess that goes back to what I was saying at the beginning of the top of the show, right? About, it's important that you get to know people, and that not only you get to know people, but that especially if people are helping you eventually, at least when you get more familiar with the hobby and you become more of a veteran, you also return the favor and try to help others,
You bet.
Yeah. Scratch my back, I scratch yours, that kind of thing, right? It's yeah, man. It makes the hobby so much more fun anyway. So, okay. So Mark Fong says that the only Silver Surfer I dig is by Marshall Rogers. Is that true? Is that real? Is that a true statement, Mark? Because I mean, not that, whatever, everybody's got their taste, but I don't think that may be the first time. You may be the first guy in the hobby that I've ever heard, in my memory at least, say that the only one they like out of all the guys that have drawn him would be Marshall Rogers. Wow. Like, if you're being serious, that's pretty shocking to me. And I don't mean it in a derogatory way, because I hate that stuff. I'm just saying, wow, I've never heard that. So that's kind of an interesting comment. Wow. Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of surprising to me, but cool. Like I said, different strokes for different folks all the time. So there has to be somebody, and I know a lot of people that love the Roger stuff. So, so there you go. That you like the clean lines of Mr. Rogers. Yeah, I get it, man. That's cool. Thank you for sharing that with us. That is also it's good to know. There's always a first for everything, right? So, before I get to you, Stanley, there was one thing I wanted to put from Stevie B. And I didn't forget you, Stevie B. It's just that I wanted to get back to you simply because we had already skipped over that piece. But yeah, I did want to point out that this also is a great analogy for that last, the Maliv piece, that the Chariots of Fire theme broke out in your head the moment you laid eyes on the piece on the right. That's very interesting.
Yeah, interesting as well.
Yeah. And let me just quickly show that. Yeah. So that's a cool comment. Wow. Yeah, very neat. Thank you, Stevie. Okay. So another great piece leads us to another John Buscema. And this is going backwards in time again to the original series. And this one, it's a great page, but the thing about this coming page is there's one particular panel that stands out to me. Rick, I want you to just take a guess without thinking too long. Which one would have been the panel that grabbed me? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know the panel that grabbed me, so. But surprisingly enough, the space, the panel one is cool. Panel two kind of captures the antithesis of, the Silver Surfer, the brooding, he's always under such incredible, strife and stuff. But, the arms out flying, if you didn't have the context of the story, you would almost think that that's kind of a jovial pose. So the second panel to me is kind of, I won't say anti-surfer for the time period. 7. But I kind of, like I said, without reading the text, I kind of like that as being, a free-spirited, not this contemplative type interpretation of it. So although the first panel is cool, it's actually my favorite panel is the second panel.
Okay, because I actually am a lover of facial close-ups and extreme close-ups. So you wouldn't have known that. But the second to last panel is what drew me more than any of them. I just love the definition in the cheekbones, the squared off jaw. To me, that's like just a great Buscema face, the beautiful ink lines of it. But having said that, I also was very, very taken by that panel that you just spoke about. The second panel, I just love. It's not okay. So number one, the arm out thing, right? It's like you're like, what's happening here? Like, it's so bizarre, right? Like, why I'm coming, right? And then not only that, but the form of the body, how he's leaning so forward that way.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool.
Right? And he's standing like really much closer to the front of the board than the center or the back of it, right? So yeah, it's just a really interesting pose that you never really see, So yeah, it's very intriguing. That's why I kind of love that one too, Let me see. Do you guys? Sorry, I'm jumping back into the chat here, guys. I was out of the chat momentarily, and so Marcus says panel 2 is an Olympic pose, and panel CJ says panel 4 is introspective. I don't know. Like I said, for me, it's just artistic. It's just I love the form of the face, the how he defined the face. And Mark says that looks like White Vision. Oh, like the White Vision, right, from the 80s without his cape. Yeah, cool. So Stanley just asked, did you like the Fantastic Four 2 movie with the Silver Surfer?
Well, being a comic book guy since, for 51 years, having stores and conventions, I even like the bad. I like the old Captain America on the motorcycle, the cheesy stuff. I like them all. It's clearly for 2006, which I believe is when the FF2 movie came out. I didn't like the Galactus as a cloud, but I certainly loved the CGI surfer. The voicing of it, I thought was really well. I have one of the big movie, the big 6-foot surfer prop in my office. I used to have the cardboard backdrop, but that got damaged in the hurricane, so I lost that. But I still have the whole surfer and board. So I certainly enjoyed the movie. Would I like to see and update it, especially with the technology we have today?
Yeah,
I think it could be phenomenal. I've heard rumors it's going to be a Disney Plus 5-issue thing. I'd love to see it on the big screen, but I'm one of those that any surfer out there I enjoy.
Okay, there you go. You heard it here first, Stanley. Okay, and let me just go back to what I was saying. Okay, so Marcus, clearly you know me and my tastes very, very well. Okay, so here, I have to do this. I gotta pop your comment. All right. So I knew what you were saying here with this one, but you clarified. So let me put that one. So you thought I would like the hands on the third panel, I'm sure is what you're referring to. But yeah, even second, the left hand on the first panel. But okay, so here's the thing. So yes, here's the thing, Marcus. That I love that hand on the here. Let me see with the 1, 2, 3. So I love his left hand and actually the whole arm and hand, but especially the hand on that third panel. You're absolutely right, Marcus. That's if I was talking about, do you know what my favorite single element on that page is? You would be right. It's that hand. It's just expertly drawn. So you are right. But because I was saying panel, I didn't choose that one as the whole panel because it's really just the arm and hand that really blow my mind, not sort of the side part of his body that, that doesn't really do anything special to me. But that's why I didn't mention that one. But it's cool to see that you know what I like. So I had to mention that. So thank you for pointing it out. Appreciate it. And I just want to say, Stanley, not that you give a shit or asked me or anything, but while the FF movies, both of them, they were done on lower budgets, so yeah, maybe they're not that great or whatever. I have to say, regarding FF2 with the Silver Surfer, like I love, and still to this day, I loved and still love the Silver Surfer part of the movie. Like I can complain about some things on that movie, but it's not Silver Surfer. I loved it. I like not only the visuals, but his voice. The guy that got to do the
That's
voice.
what I said. Yeah, the voice just kind of made it.
It was so godlike almost, like somebody who does roam the stars, It was like, wow. Yeah, I loved it. So even if they upgraded the movie budget and all that, and they did a new one, and if they did that same exact surfer, I actually wouldn't complain. Like I really liked it, and I still do. So but like I said, not that you asked, Stanley. At least not me. All right. So from there, we're gonna jump. More to the modern era. I mean, probably 40 years, whatever now. But to me, since I was buying it off the stands, it feels modern. But yeah, the Defenders cover by Al Milgrom, really kick ass. Love that.
I think that was maybe the second cover I was able to buy. A dealer had gotten in a trade from a collector and had heard that I was collecting Silver Surfer. I don't think I had anything from Al Milgrom or, again, I obviously had read all the Defenders comics, especially the early Defenders, with the Surfer in them, but just an opportunity to have another cover that, wasn't from the original series. I think that was the second cover I actually ever bought. Don't remember how much it was, but that would have been like 2021, 2020. It was pretty early on. And again, just I like Milgram. I like his interpretation of the Surfer. Having other characters there, the Hulk and Doctor Strange, just gave it a little bit extra for me because up until then, I really had just been focused on Surfer, the Surfer series, Surfer panels, and so this kind of got me to step out and realize, like Hulk 250 and Hulk 262 and Defenders and Avengers and Thor 193 and FF 121, 22, 23, it got me to realize that I need to look outside of just the Surfer books for pages that I might like. So this kind of opened that door for me. Was this, and again, at the time I bought this cover's not horrifically expensive. I have no idea what it'd sell for now, but it really wasn't that much money. So I was like, I got to have it.
Yeah, no, fantastic. Great choice. And like you said, for me also, it's that extra added bonus of seeing the Doctor Strange and the Hulk, Valkyrie in the background. Yeah,
that was very cool.
Yeah, really like that a lot. So, okay, fantastic. I want to come back to you guys here real quick. Okay, Marcus, you're kind of blowing my mind here. Because I remember that it was Doug Jones who did the actor, for the body movements or whatever for the Silver Surfer in the movie. But I've got no recollection whatsoever that the voice. Are you absolutely 1000% certain that it was Lawrence Fishburne? Because didn't he speak like with a British accent? That's what I kind of remember.
I remember at the time, like when Benedict Cumberbatch first did Doctor Strange, I started reading Doctor Strange comics in his voice in my head, and I seem to recall now that Marcus has brought up Lawrence Fishburne that yes, I read that whatever the 2000 the Mike Aldred series, which came out a few years later. I remember kind of trying to read that in that Lawrence Fishburne type of voice, but I had totally forgotten who it was until he just confirmed it. So
yeah, Marcus says he got it from IMDb, and Mark says that also he seems to know that it was Fishburne. But am I wrong, guys? Am I wrong? Like, was he, because I haven't watched it in years, but wasn't he speaking with a very sort of that classic British accent? And
I remember the deep Fishburne voice, but I don't know that it was.
And what I don't remember Fishburne. That's so okay. Now I got to rewatch it just to listen to it, And yeah, there's Mickey. Hey, Mickey. Yeah, Marcus is correct. It's so weird now. Oh my God, I'm gonna have to go after we're done with the show and check it out. Like, what? You guys are all blowing my mind. I would never. I actually thought it was that guy who did the acting for the movements, Doug Jones. That's what I was thinking. Okay, this is weird. Okay, no accent. What am I thinking of then? Oh my! I gotta go back. Okay, I could swear he spoke with an accent. He certainly didn't speak like Lawrence Fishburne. Okay, anyways, you're blowing my mind. Okay, well, we got to move on, but that's wild. I guess I am misremembering, Scott. Weird. I got to go back now. Wow. Okay, and Fishburne is both Silver Surfer. What do you mean Giant Man? Where was Giant Man ever in the movie? I don't remember. I don't really watch all the Marvel movies, so if he came out in a movie, I guess I haven't seen it. But wow, Mickey Marcus is always correct. I don't know about always, but pretty often. Probably thinking I'm not the Darth. No.
James Earl Jones. That was the Darth Vader, James Earl Jones.
No. James Earl Jones did the voice.
Right. Oh, the actor. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I'm obviously misremembering. If you guys all are confirming this, so he spoke just like Morpheus. Silver Surfer isn't from Britain. I know that, and I'm not even a Marvel fan. Yeah, but he's from the stars, from another planet. So when you have godlike creatures or whatever beings, they always sound better when you give them a British accent, you know? Yeah, so, oh, he played Bill Foster in Ant-Man. Oh, okay. Thank you, Tariq. Thank you. Okay, yeah, whatever. All right, I'll check it out, guys. I'll check it out. Yeah. David Prowse was the actor in the costume for Darth Vader. Thank you for, yes, I couldn't remember the name, Jeff. Thank you. So, okay. Let's take a look at, jumping back to the second example of Jack Kirby, and from the last issue of the series. So very cool. And then let me just say, Rick, I don't know if you and everybody else in the live chat might think I'm weird, but believe it or not, the panel that intrigued me the most is the second one, and it's because
Surfer's derriere.
Yeah. It's just because it's such a weird pose. Like, why would you be in such a completely hunched over at the waist to where your top torso is literally parallel to the board, to the ground, you know? It's just such an interesting, I've never seen that before. It's probably the first and only time I've ever seen anybody draw the Surfer that way, you know?
And again, I think Tariq just said, the Herb Trimpe I think he did a lot of the finishes for 18, including the cover. And so I have multiple pages from issue 18. And this is just, again, any opportunity to get Kirby, because Kirby is still king for me, even though Buscema was the first Surfer that I ever got. When I went back and found the FF books and Kirby, and, it's started really understanding that this was the origin of the character. Kirby's just still number one for me, even though Buscema is just 1A and 1B. So anytime I had an opportunity to buy any Kirby page of Surfer, I bought it. Right. Even if it was a bad page, I don't know if there's anything such a thing as a bad page, but this page, and I think I've got a couple others from issue 18 as well. And one day, hopefully, Glenn will sell me the cover that he has from this particular issue. So we'll have to see.
We will see. We will see. Hey, like I said, never say never. So, so Mike, here's the thing, Mike, is that I'm not saying you're wrong, because it's possible, but keep in mind that when the penciler gets well, especially in those days, it was just a plot, right? It was a basic plot. So on this, he would have been sort of designing, the page layout, the panels, however he wanted. Kirby would have been choosing the amount of panels he wanted to put on the page. So the thing is, you don't decide the amount of panels and the size of the panels unless you already have in your head, as the artist, thought of how you're going to draw, like what you're going to be drawing in that panel. You see? So that's why I don't think it had to do with, he had to squeeze him in, He's already thinking of how he's going to have the Surfer in that panel. What's he going to have him doing? So therefore, I don't think that that's the reason that he's hunched over that way. But I'm always willing to concede that it is a possibility. But it's interesting. That's it. That's what I wanted to just put out there. Kirby wanted to moon. It was like a secret way of him mooning the headers, or him mooning Stan. Who knows? He's hanging 10 Surfer style, courtesy Kirby. That's funny. Silver Surfer was picking up the cosmic soap. Oh God. Okay, now you guys are getting out of control. I would say you're correct, Rick. Herb probably lent a bunch. Okay.
Yeah, I think by the time this was released, Kirby was already at DC doing his, New Gods and stuff like that. So yeah, my understanding is that Trimpe did a lot of the inks and finishes for this particular issue.
Yeah. I will say it's some of these suggestions are funny, but I think any of them are actually possible. So who knows, right? Yeah. When Trimpe got the page to ink, he was like, "What the?" Yeah, exactly. But it's fun. And then, guys, check this one out. Some of you who look at my video graphics carefully for every episode may be familiar with this. It is Kirby. We're going to stick with Kirby, and for obvious reasons, it is this sweet page. And you probably don't have to tell me what you like about it because I already know what everybody knows. But why don't you talk about it anyways, Rick?
Okay, so in 2000, I want to say it was 2010, 11, 12, I just bought that one page that Wes had told me about. And I was at a convention with Steve Borak, and he had just started working for Heritage. And of course, Borak knew, again, I was a surfer fan. I think I said, oh, yeah, I just bought my first page of surfer art, from FF55 or whatever. And he's like, Rick, I got a page coming up from FF55 that you're going to want to win, but it's going to go for like $120,000. And of course, my jaw dropped. And that was, of course, that famous, half page splash. And this one reminded me, it's kind of like the stepbrother of that page. So when this sold in Comic Link, I want to say in 2000, I went back and did the research, and this was offered to me, I guess, by the owner. And of course, the price was hefty, but I remember missing out on that other 55 page. And this was the closest I was going to come to that, capturing. And now that I was a full, art collector, I knew I had to have it. And so this once again, you've now picked out another one of my top 10 pages that are in my, in my mind, stuff that I will, always put on the mantle and never want to relinquish.
Yeah. Well, I can understand that certainly, for sure. Yeah. It's a beauty. And this is the reason, actually, everybody, that I saved that one for last. That was the last one that we have for tonight. And I was just wondering, Rick, because I'd mentioned earlier about the, or you had mentioned little bits and pieces of the, because I'm sure people are wondering, you had mentioned you suffered something, a tragedy with the hurricane and all that. I'm wondering, do you have a few minutes? Would you like to sort of give more detail about what happened with that? And
I will say this: Hurricane Michael struck our area in Florida October 10th, 2018. I had been at Baltimore Comic Con, the New York Comic Con, back to back, and I had just put in my office. There's a pretty cool artist, Ryan Heshka, that had done some recreation covers and stuff for me. But I had a Kirby surfer page that we had just framed up, and I was going to put it in my office, and it was laying there across my desk. I was going to do it when I got back. Got back into the store that Tuesday, the 9th, and I needed to go make the deposits from the conventions. I got to the bank, and the banks are all closed for hurricane prep. And of course, I got distracted, and I left all the stuff in the office. And when I finally got to the store 2 days later, the store was destroyed. The back wall was out. Everything was gone. The office had collapsed. And so this original Kirby FF surfer page was under roof and water and ceiling tile. And, I sent it to Heritage, and there was no way it could be restored. It was, like wet toilet paper. So,
it was that bad.
It was completely disintegrated. It was still in the frame, but it had been, the inks were gone. It was wet toilet paper. And so
can I ask what happened to it though? Where is it?
I have it in storage. I mean, I kept the frame and the stuff that was sent back to me, but it's unrecognizable. It's literally at this point has molded, and all the stuff that and the pieces are again. I guess maybe it's I did get paid insurance on it. It was the only thing that I had under my personal insurance that I was paid for. At the time, it was like $25,000 or something. So, but like I said, I could care less about the money. But my buddy Ray Chrising, who is an ink for DC and for Marvel and stuff, he's redrawing that page for me, doing it kind of as a favor. So I'll at least have a representation of it. But that was the only, again, it was one of those pieces I had bought before I became a full-fledged collector, and I just wanted to have something on the wall in the office. And so that's disappointing, but then my good buddy Dino sold me another page from Epic. So kind of over time, it's lessened the pain. But original art, once it's gone, it's gone. You don't get it back. So,
I know, and that's the crazy thing about it is that, like, when you get into this this hobby, a lot of the times once you start meeting people, one of the common conversations that you end up getting into is, oh, where's all the art? You're like, where's all the art that we haven't seen ever hit the market, all these decades later.
Sure.
And a lot of the stories are, oh, well, there was a time when, oh, Marvel, people were stealing it from Marvel. Who knows what happened to that stuff? And then Marvel would give it away as free contest giveaways. And, those people back in the 60s, they probably thought it was, they at the time, they would have thought of it as some black and white poster or something. And who knows? It probably ended up in the garbage or whatever.
Yeah, it seemed like it was treated as disposable by many of these editors. So
yeah. And that's the thing, is that you have those conversations and you realize, okay, we have no idea how much of it doesn't really exist anymore. But that's what makes it all the more the sadder that now that we have this hobby where this stuff is treasured, right? It's truly treasured. And it just goes to show, you would think that, 2023, this stuff wouldn't happen anymore, but natural disasters still always exist. They always hit people.
Theft.
Yeah, exactly. And so, gosh, it hurts so much to hear. I mean, you're talking about 2018, you said that the hurricane.
October 10th, 2018. Unfortunately, it's a day I won't ever forget. So,
oh God, I can imagine. It's like, yeah, Marcus, exactly. It's heart-wrenching. It's like, wow. I mean, for you to say, and I've seen some pretty, what I used to describe as destroyed pages, but never have I seen one that I would have described as unrecognizable the way you did. That stuck the knife in. Wow. Like
it sat under because power lines were down, trees were down. We couldn't move for 2 days. We didn't have power for 30 days. I had no way to ship it to someone sooner to see if it could have been salvaged or saved. So it sat there for literally a month before. And of course, some of the stuff stuck to the glass, the way it had been. It was just, like I said, it's hard. And not that I don't, I can talk about it. It's years later now. And I've got that and some of the other stuff I had in my office in a box and in storage. But it's just one of those things where, again, it can't ever replace it. I can't go back in time. So my wife has told me just got to move forward over it so I don't keep getting depressed about stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's a heartbreak of my story. But so someone else.
I'm just waiting patiently for you to finish what you're saying, because I want to put that up too. Everybody, look at this. Number one Marvel fan. So I know number one Marvel fan has 4 stores. And so 3 of his stores flooded during the hurricane in 18. He stayed in one of them all night and watched it start. That's already terrifying. And I put up everything up off the floor. Oh my God, I just can't even imagine. Wow. I mean, yeah, I can't even imagine. I don't even want to ask what kind of losses you sustained, because it's all just horrible, horrible, horrible stuff. Now, let's just all be thankful. Hopefully, nobody in your stores, Rick, or you, number one Marvel fan, nobody was hurt or lost their lives. At least I'm assuming.
No, just product.
Yeah, thank God, at least for that, right? So, but yeah, wow, it's so terrible. Wow, it's like I said, shocking. But yeah, this stuff keeps happening. Anytime you get the people in all the areas where you have natural disasters, right? There's always collectors in every part of the country, or where natural disasters occur. So it's bound to continue to happen, right? So it's not the last we will hear about these kinds of stories. It's just, but incredibly sad all the time, nonetheless. So so fantastic. Well, listen, everybody, that's the end of tonight's hangout show and tell. I want to say big thank you to you again, Rick. It was as fun and kick-ass as I thought it would be. So
I appreciate you hosting it, Ruben, inviting me on. Of course, everybody that is in the comments, those that messaged me earlier today saying I'll be there, and I appreciate all you guys. And who I lean on, and not that I wouldn't lean on everybody, but I know some I know some folks better. And like I said, if anybody ever has a desire, we can do a part 2 down the road somewhere. And like I said, I've got a lot of pages to that have interesting, and some of them I just think are cool. And so
no, and thank you, Tariq. That's very kind of you to say. One of your all-time favorite shows. I'm glad. I like I said, and I'm glad that you, whatever time you can spare to tune in, and like I said, it's not just about tuning in, guys. With my show, I hope you appreciate. I hope you like and I assume you do, because you keep coming back. I really do love, for me, what I love the most is that it's not just me and my friends who are my guests. interviewing and you guys just come in to watch and listen. I just love it because we all get in on it and it's a whole group chat thing or whatever. It's like all of us hanging out, you know? That's what really makes it special for me. So I thank you guys all because Rick and everybody else who has ever come on my show, there wouldn't really be much of a show, obviously, without the guests who are willing to come on, because I'd be bored doing it all by myself. But also, it's equally as important and to say thank you always and always. Thank all you guys, my live chat crew who come in all the time and not just watch. Like I say, you participate always and say with the cool comments, the great comments, the funny stuff, joking around. It's everything. So it really feels like a cool, awesome hangout. And that's what makes it fun for me, certainly. So thanks to all of you. Everybody seems to have enjoyed it tonight. So that makes me very, very happy. I
appreciate y'all tuning in and looking, because it's fun to share. One thing I found about art is it's great if you stick it in if to you sticking it in a box and hiding it away is your thing, but the sharing and getting to see it, that's what I want to do more of. So
good. I'm happy to hear that. Thanks for sharing, Rick. Have a great week, everybody. I guess, Rick, can you hang for a minute?
Yeah.
Okay, just stick with me. I'm going to put you in the green room, and I'll be there in a minute. Okay.
Cool.
All right. Thank you. So guys, thanks again so much. It was really a lot of fun, as at least as fun, if not more, than I thought it would be. Man, Rick was as cool as I figured he seemed to me. So, and we're just getting to know each other. So it's that's what the hobby is all about for me, is just getting to know more people, and good people, especially, fun people to chat with. So thank you again, everybody. Just really quickly want to let you guys know, as I usually tend to do, that to please tune in next Sunday. That show will be an episode of Hangout. So tonight was a show and tell. So next week will be Hangout. And of course, we will show a little bit of art, maybe half of the amount we showed tonight, which is typically what we do on Hangout episodes. And this is going to be with my new pal, Dick O. And of course, all you guys in the live chat crew. And Dick, he actually, just so you guys know, he actually reached out to me. So I've been doing this regularly now on my channel for 9 or 10 months. And Dick is the first guy who has actually approached me and asked, if he could come on. He said he wanted to come on. And surprisingly enough, I figured he would want to just show art, so do a show and tell. But he actually has specifically said he really would prefer to do more chatting, which really I love more. As you guys who've been watching for a long time know, the Hangout series, I created it because I wanted it to be different from the show and tell. I wanted the Hangout series to be more about letting the conversations carry the episodes, And you may also remember early on, for the first several episodes, I never even showed art. We just talked, and that was it. It was good conversation, right? And then after that, we started showing some art. But we will show art from Dick's collection. But like I said, he has requested that he would like to make it more about chatting and talking about the hobby. So that'll be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to that. Please tune into that if you can. And that's it. Everybody else, have a great week. Don't forget to tune in to Nikki B's show on the EXP on Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific. And that's it. We will see everybody next Sunday at 8 o'clock, the usual time, Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific. Thanks all. Peace.